Hello everyone, hi Turtle, hi! Welcome to your first stream. I feel like I'm very quiet, I'm sorry about that. Hold on. Hello everyone, hi! How are you all doing today? There's so many people here, oh my word. I wonder what Laura Frog has in store. Hello Zentry Force, welcome to your first stream, I think. Hello Myth, hi! Hello Amora, hi Harry, hi Jed. Oh, apparently there's only one person on Twitch right now, which is, I don't think that's the case. Hello Renai! Hello Jacoby! Wah. I see 7. Yeah, there should be 7 people on Twitch, but my stream elements is breaking. People on Twitch, there's new things. There's new things for you to do. There's little point redeem things you can do. You can remove my hat now. There's a redeem for that, or put it back if I forget to put it back. Um, there's a head pat now if you want to do that. There's music redeems. If you get 500 points, you can do music or meme redeems. You can turn me into a cat if you get 1,000 points for like, I think it's like 5 minutes that I'm a cat. Anyways. Yeah. Yay, head pats. Thank you, Grinko. How are you all doing today? Oh my gosh. Renai. Okay, I'm a cat now. Bro, it turned it off. Oh no. Hold on. If you do it twice, it just turns it off, but I'll redeem it again. There you go. Now it's back. Frog car. There's XP on YouTube now, yeah. I don't really know. I haven't been following YouTube updates a whole lot, but it's there. You doing pretty good? Okay. Good. Okay. I need to find my notes because I can't speak without notes, you know me. No brain. Head empty. The silliness has increased. Always. Do cat girls have 2 ears or 4? Uh, I guess it depends on the cat. On the cat girl? I don't know. Hello, A. Welcome to the stream. Stream is scuffed. Okay. What's with the cat ears? There's new Twitch redeems. You can redeem things on Twitch. I have cat ears for 5 minutes. Because, yes. Alright. Streamy scuff, chicken feet, a new pair of socks. Yes, no, maybe. What is happening? Head pats. Hello, Corvus. Welcome to the stream. So far, we have a no scuff record. That's because I'm not doing anything other than talking on the stream. Hopefully, I have that figured out by now. There'll probably be some scuff with the redeems because I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll try my best. Okay. My word. I was gonna talk about serious things, but not with cat ears. I can't be serious. I can't walk in with cat ears. So far, we have a no scuff record. Alright. Time to lock in chat. I just won't look at myself. It's fine. I just realized that cat ears have really cool physics. That's nice. I'll be FK for a little bit, but I'm around if you need me, boss. Okay, thank you, Fen. I hope you're feeling better. Oh, I need to do a shout out for you. Because, yes, hold on. Eh. Always. Take the cat ears off. This is important. If I could spell your name, I would do a shout out, but I can't spell for some reason. Yes, you're getting a shout out, Fen. Sorry. Not sorry. There. Gosh dang it. Oh, thank you, Thomas. Aw. Thank you. Thank you for the $10. I appreciate it. That's precious. Bro. Thank you. Bro, I posted that like an hour ago and people have been so sweet about helping. It's you guys are precious. You are the best fan base ever. All right, lock in chat. The first thing I want to talk about is just kind of where I'm at mentally and spiritually right now because I think it's good to be accountable with people about it. First of all, I just after the last Denathethon stream we did on Twitch, I felt really convicted of just my heart place with content creation in general. More like where I was putting a lot of my attention when it came to content creation. Like I was putting a lot of attention into doing fun, silly things on stream, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. But um when it becomes a distraction from important things, then it can quickly become a bad thing. Oh my gosh, Gringo, stop donating money. Gringo. Hi, Samson. Hi. Hello. Hold on, I gotta shout you out too because yes, Gringo, how much did you give me? How much? Gringo, you already gave me some money today. What are you doing? It won't tell me. It won't tell me. $5? Thank you for the $5, Gringo. This isn't for ramen. Okay, fine. You guys are sweethearts. Absolute sweethearts. It's good to see you too, Samson. Hi. Okay. Well, if you guys would stop distracting me, I could probably talk about serious things. Anyways, I was feeling convicted about being distracted, especially when it came to content creation and like what I put my focus on. Um, and like I love doing fun things with you guys, but my heart was just in the wrong place. So like that was all I was really caring about. It's like, oh, how do I do this next thing, or how do I figure this out? How to become a good Twitch streamer? How do I get better at doing the things I want to do? And it was just not the right heart posture to have. My heart posture should be definitely to just point people to Christ and to glorify Him. Hello, UBs. Serious frog, of course, the most serious. Um, and so I really got hardcore convicted about that. I really want to return my focus to God. I'm still doing this testimony and lore stream because people paid for it last stream, and also like it is God honoring, and I'll try my hardest to like make it God centered and not me centered. Y'all watch Legends of Adventurous? Yes. Oh, also hi Blackjack. Welcome to the stream. Serious frog. Also, yes, I am going through tremendous amounts of burnout right now. Probably partially because of all the stress of like housing stuff and trying to figure out how to get my friend out of her bad living situation and all this stuff. But also just pushing myself to make a living off of content creation all at once, doing like five different things is a little hard for my little amphibian brain. So, yippee, burnout. One of my friends told me before I said anything to him about being burnt out. He's like, "Yeah, you're acting like you're like burnt to a crisp right now. You work too hard." I'm like, "No." So, yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out how to better manage my energy and like get my strength from God, not from myself, and to stop doing things for my sake, but for God's sake. Yeah. Um, Yeah. I have more in my notes, but yeah, it's fine. I'm truly praying for you and your friend. Genuinely, I pray with a cheerful heart. Oh, thank you, Samson. I appreciate it, bro. I'm so glad to have good friends right now because my gosh, would not survive without y'all. Okay, so the plan for the stream, kind of very roughly, is just yapping. I'm going to talk about my testimony, but ask any kind of questions you want. There is on Twitch, there is a redeem for prayer requests, I think, and Bible verses. So if you guys need to interrupt me at any point, please do so. I'm just gonna talk. There's no plan. Um, I'll talk about my testimony. I'll talk about the lore behind my persona because I haven't shared that yet, even though I've had it finalized since before the VTuber model was finished. Um, and yeah, and just anything else you want to talk about. I can't have a super long stream today because I have a meeting on at like 8 today and I need to be ready for that. So, hello monkey, welcome to the stream. My legs wrinkle. What is happening on YouTube? Oh, that's out on Twitch. That's what is going on? Okay. Once upon a time, 20 years ago, in 2005, uh, a wee lass was born. But yeah. 20 years ago, I was born, and I was born in Australia, the great down under. Um, yeah. And I was born to two missionary parents. My mom has been a missionary kid for most of her life. She grew up in Papua New Guinea and met my dad there. They got married there, and yeah, it's a huge part of our family history. Crikey, yeah. 2005 was 20 years ago. Old. Hello, sir. I'm younger than you, aren't I? Story time. Um, but straight off the bat, I already have a testimony point from my birth is the fact that I was not an easy birth for my mother. Um, yeah, I we according to my mother, we or they were considering taking me. They were considering whether or not they should give birth to me in Papua New Guinea or into Australia. Like trying to decide between the two because my mom was born in Papua New Guinea, so she's kind of like, oh, that would be kind of cool if my daughter was also born there. Monkey is older than us, Grinko. He's an old man, the great down under. um, and so they decided to go to Australia, even though it was more expensive. But that was a good thing because it was really there's a lot of complications to my birth, and I ended up having to have a cesarean section. So, yeah, I wouldn't have survived if my parents had decided to give birth to me in Papua New Guinea. So, first, first praise that I started out, struggling to be alive. The poll completed with chicken feet. Yeah. Um, so that's the first thing. Um, Man, I am so scatterbrained. This is crazy. This is what happens when you're on so little sleep. My word. And so when I was a baby, my family toured around America to, show me to my relatives on both sides of the family, and then we went to Europe, wandered around England and like Wales and stuff. And then eventually we ended up going back to Papua New Guinea where my parents lived. Um, Apparently, when I was a baby, my parents took me out to the village, like, Stone Age kind of village kind of thing. You think of like Amazon rainforest, that was the kind of villages that I'm talking about. Number one win for Providence, yes, for sure. Um, my parents took me out there and, uh, oh my word. My brain. My parents took me out there and I got this tremendous ear infection when I was probably a few months old. And according to my parents, they were scared I was just gonna be deaf because the ear infection was so bad it wouldn't go away. They didn't have any medicine because they were out in the village. They couldn't really travel back to where they could get medicine. So I was just kind of stuck out there. And they prayed, and eventually the ear infection receded. And I didn't lose my hearing. I did have like a slightly deformed ear canal on the right hand side, it's a little funny, little funky dude, but it's fine. I can still hear out of it, so praise God for that. And then my brother was born 2 years later. He was born in 2007. um, also in Australia. And yes, we had a full family at that point. When my brother was, I think he was like a year old, he climbed up my playhouse that my dad built for me when no one's watching, slipped and fell and hit his head on the concrete pad beneath the playhouse. And so we medevaced him to, or medically evacuated, if people don't know what that means, medically evacuated him to Australia because severe concussion. He was throwing up. He showed severe signs of internal brain hemorrhaging and stuff like that. Like not good signs, like really bad signs. He got put onto a plane, and then a helicopter, and then a ship, the Mercy ship, which back then was run by YWAM, and now they're their own organization. Um, and as soon as he got on the boat, all of his symptoms started like receding. He all of a sudden stopped throwing up. He stopped showing signs of like severe brain trauma. Started running around and playing with the other kids around him, and was perfectly fine. Like not a severe injury at all. Like he just was chill after that, and so that was a huge miracle. That God just like instantly healed him. So that was kind of like the major event of the first 3 years of my life was my brother nearly dying. Um, so then after when I turned three, a little bit after that, my parents decided that the mission field or the specific ministry that we were under was not worth staying with anymore because of just some choices they had made and some poor behavior. So they decided to go finish, which means you leave the mission field. You're intending to be gone forever, kind of thing. So we moved back to the States. Um, and I'll be honest, because of some things that happened later, I lost pretty much all my memories of before the age of 8. I don't really remember anything. I remember like really like specific moments, but nothing. I don't really know what we were doing. So most of what I know about before I was 8 comes from stories from my parents. And apparently there isn't a lot happening during this time because I don't hear a lot of stories. I haven't heard a lot of stories about this time in my life between the ages of 3 and 8. I know we moved around a lot. Like, we moved so much during this time. We were never really in the same home for more than a few years. And I was definitely struggling with that as a kid because attachment issues, most missionary kids have them. When you're moving from one place to another a lot as a kid without a lot of stability, you kind of develop issues with that. So I was not handling that very well, according to my parents. Um, yes. Oh, during this time, my brother got appendicitis way too young. I think he was like 2 or 3, 4, like really young, like way younger than you're supposed to be able to get it. And due to the doctors being like, hey, there's no way he has appendicitis, even if he has the symptoms, he's too young to have appendicitis, and kind of discounting that. Like, he just has a stomach ache. He nearly died again, because his appendix burst, which released like all of the infected material into the body. Um, which if it made it to his heart, he would have died. So he was admitted into urgent care, underwent like tremendous amount of procedures just to remove some of the infected poison from his body. Um, and survived that by the grace of God. Again, shouldn't have he should have died because of that. Um, yeah. And then the and I thought I had a tough life. I haven't even gotten started, buddy. I don't even know. My goodness, y'all survived some fraught childhoods. God is good. God is so good. Yeah. Um, then the big year that changed my life forever was age 8. And yeah, I'll just tell the story as I remember it. I'm probably gonna get mess up some details, but I don't have him to fact check me, so it's fine. Yeah, when I was 8 years old, it was autumn, right before Halloween, kind of like right around this time of year, actually. Um, and I was walking my friend home after playing with her, and she just lived. She lived. Like lived in a block. My family lived on like the front right, and she lived on the back left. So it was like a diagonal. But one of our neighbors built a fence between our yards, so we couldn't like walk across the diagonal. We had to like walk around the block on the road. And the road was dangerous and fast. Like the cars, I think it's like 60 miles per hour back then. They lowered the speed limit a little bit there now, but still, for residential district, it's pretty pretty fast. Um, and so I was legally declared dead twice myself. Oh dang, that's crazy. Thank God for preserving your life. Oh my word. But yeah, so I had to walk on this busy road to get back to my friend's house. And we never really had any issues with that. My mom, the only thing she's really concerned about is like, Sierra, if you're going there barefoot, don't walk in the grass because I don't want you to step on the broken glass and like torn up shrapnel and stuff. Um and so I was walking in the bike lane, like there's just a designated bike lane. There shouldn't have been an issue. I mean, yeah, there's cars are going by fast, but they knew what they were doing. There's a lot of bikers in the area that shouldn't be watching the road anyways, whatever. I was walking back from dropping off my friend, walking on the side of the road. I was kind of distracted by the Halloween decorations in our neighbor's yard because like there was like a 10-foot tall like skeleton inflatable thing. It was so weird. Anyways, I was like, what the heck is that as a kid? I look up back at the road and there is this, family car, black family car, almost falling off the edge of the road, very much in the bike lane, coming straight at me. And at that point, she was probably like, I couldn't, like, probably just a few meters away from me. Even if I had jumped out of the way, I don't think I could have completely dodged. The car, however, my fight or flight instinct is freeze, so I just kind of stood there, unfortunately. Um, and I was hit by the car. And apparently, I was conscious for the whole thing. It just my brain trauma blocked the uh the actual event of what happened. So I don't remember anything. But as much as the paramedics could figure out from what happened is that I got hit by the car. I flew up over the windshield, hit face first into a mailbox on the side of the road, completely devastated the mailbox, and then fell to the side of the road. And the car, because as you would do when you hit a child, kept on driving and parked down the road just far enough that she could watch what was happening, but not coming over to help or anything. She just stood there. Because yes, that's what you do when you hit an 8-year-old. Of course. um and according to my neighbors, it sounded like two cars that hit each other because of how loud the impact was. Another neighbor said that he saw this object being like hit by a car, but he thought it was like a box by how it flew through the air and stuff like that. So, big deal kind of thing. It was my ex-paramedic neighbor that found me first, and the um his entire family, found me first kind of thing. And it was good because he knew how to hold my head so I wouldn't like suffocate on my own blood kind of thing. They called my family over, and my family apparently I looked so bad, so much of a mess that they thought that I was gonna die in the next few seconds. So they didn't even like think to call 911. They were just thinking about saying goodbye to their daughter. It was our neighbor who ended up calling 911. Um, and yeah, I just remember lying in the gravel because I eventually regained memories of this. I was just lying in the gravel on the side of the road. It just um kind of confused by what was going on. I knew my leg hurt a lot, and I kept on saying that, like, oh my gosh, my leg hurts, my leg hurts. Um, and looking up and seeing this like ring of faces crying over me, I'm like, what is wrong? What happens? Um, yeah. And so the ambulance comes, I get loaded in. The paramedics were like fighting to keep me conscious because apparently if I had gone unconscious in the van because of the blood loss, I would have died. Yeah. Hello, Side Ali. Welcome to the stream. Um, so they were definitely like they were fighting to keep me awake. They're like, Sierra, if you go unconscious, we're gonna splash water on you. Don't go unconscious. Um, my mom and my brother followed behind the ambulance in her car, and my dad was in the ambulance with me. I don't really know how to like. Okay, order of events. First of all, my skull was shattered. My dad held my head on the side of the road, and he said it felt like shattered gravel or like bits of gravel. There was no bone there anymore. Um, and so that's pretty bad. When we got to the hospital, I went into surgery, and my parents were like, what, is she okay? And they're like, oh yeah, she had a severe fracture on her leg. Um, and my parents were like, no, what about her head? What about her head? Is she okay? And they're like, there's nothing really wrong with her head. We just had to sew up some skin from where she hit the mailbox. So that was a miracle that God like touched my skull while I was in the uh ambulance and completely healed it. Um, yeah. Another thing to note is that while I was in the car, the bumper of the car that would have hit me first was the exact same height as my internal organs, like where my lungs and liver and stuff should be. There was not even any bruising on my torso. The only damaged parts of my body were my head and my legs. Which is crazy to think about, honestly. I should have like I don't know, nothing nothing should have been right after that. While I was in the ambulance, I remember having a kind of out of body experience where I was aware of what was going on outside the ambulance. Like I was aware of the entrance to the hospital, and I explained it like I described it to my mom later, and she's like, "Yeah, that's exactly what the entrance to the emergency care part of the hospital looks like," which is kind of cool. I don't really know if I was like actually dead when that happened or not. I just know that I was not really. I was seeing things that I shouldn't have been able to see. Um, yeah, trying to think of anything else. Hello, Indestructible. Welcome to the stream. When I got to surgery, they immediately saw one of my legs was in bad condition. The bone had snapped all the way through, and um, had come out of the skin. So it was pretty obvious, like, okay, we need to do surgery on this. They didn't catch that my other leg was also severely broken. It just didn't look as bad. Um, and so they did surgery on my one leg, put it in a cast, everything. The first day I was in the hospital, they were trying to get me to use my other leg to like get up to get into the wheelchair to use the restroom, whatever. And I was like, no, no, it hurts too much. Anyways, they forced me to do it, and then about an hour later, my leg had swollen up to the size of like a watermelon, and they're like, okay, you probably have another broken leg. So both my legs are severely broken. I had a cast on my right leg up to my thigh, like up to my hip, and a cast on the other leg past my knee. Very awkward to not be able to move your legs at all. Like that was horrible. Um, that is that where you got the scar on your head from? Yes, yeah, for sure. That is my little. One day when I do a face reveal, when I have a cool enough backdrop to feel comfortable doing a face reveal, I will show you guys my cool scar I have. It stretches from like above my right eyebrow around like in a circle around my head and then kind of like back behind my right ear. It's a big it's a big scar. It's very cool. Very sick scar. My sisters love Greg. Aw, that's awesome. I'm glad. I hope he's not causing too much trouble. You also have a forehead scar? Cool too. Let's go, twinsies. So yeah, I was lying in the hospital. I was in there for about a week in an urgent care, on like drip feeding and that kind of thing. Severe brain trauma. Um, like I couldn't even process basic things. Like I didn't know what one plus one or two plus two is. I couldn't form sentences well. Um, I was in severe panic mode like the entire time I was there. Severe PTSD. Every time I felt like I was being moved or like picked up or anything like that, I would scream and think that I was like falling into this void. I had horrible nightmares that I couldn't sleep. Any loud noise or just small things would set me off and just spiral and start screaming and like freaking out. Um, the doctors told me, well, they didn't mean to tell me. They thought I was asleep, but I was pretending to be asleep, so I didn't have to take my medicine. But the doctor said while I was present, um, that she's never gonna walk again. Uh, yeah, so it was such a bad break on my one leg that it wasn't likely that I was ever gonna walk again. And yeah, so for the next half year or so, I was in a wheelchair, and learning very slowly how to walk. I had like one of those grandma walkers, like you guys know what I'm talking about, like the four, like the wheels on the front and then the pegs on the back kind of thing. That kind of walker. I had one of those, and that's how I learned how to walk again. They were gonna try to put me on crutches, but they like, okay, well, both her legs are broken. Even the one is gonna heal faster, but like, it's just not worth. It's just not worth trying to transition her to crutches. She just needs to learn how to walk on the walker. And I still remember the first day I walked again by myself without help from the walker. Bro, I cried. I was so happy that I was able to walk again. Wheels instead of tennis balls, classy. Yeah. Um, but it was like 2 years before I was really comfortable being around the road or cars ever again. I was having severe PTSD responses for 5 years at least. Like horrible dreams, just weird reactions to things that would make me freak out. I do think that I think part of my social anxiety, like my really strong social anxiety reactions to things, comes from PTSD because I didn't go to therapy or anything for it. I should have, but therapy isn't real. um, yeah. So, I didn't go to therapy. I was struggling with PTSD for a long time afterwards. Anyways, that was what that happened. It was a whole miracle. I shouldn't be alive. I shouldn't be walking. I shouldn't be um conscious, really. I had such bad brain damage, such bad injuries. It's a miracle that I am able to run and walk and do things and talk to you guys and just be alive. A walker was a better choice, not gonna lie. Hopping and crutches would have made it slower to heal. I think, yeah, I would have fallen and just shouldn't have been putting any weight on that leg anyways. People did not seem to take anything seriously with my injuries, but whatever, it's fine. Um, age 10, 2 years after the accident, my family decided that God was calling them back to the mission field. And so we packed up everything, we said goodbye to everyone, and we went back to Papua New Guinea. And I spent the next 10 years of my life there, or I guess 8 years. Next to 8 years of my life there. God clearly had plans for you. Yes, for sure. 100%. I always knew that as a kid that God really wanted me alive because went so much effort to keep me alive. I know how it is. I had unprocessed trauma and it completely ruined my early 20s. I survived the abuse, but it cost. Oh, I'm sorry, Tarden. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you've been able to get help since then. Um, so we went to the mission field. My parents were assigned to a remote training center. So basically, how missions in Papua New Guinea works is that thank you for the $5. Aw. Thank you, Indestructible. That's so sweet. You're precious. Thank you. Okay, even. Okay. Well, I hope God continues to bless you with healing and peace in your spirit. Yeah. So age 10 we went to a remote center. The mission organization is laid out in bases. So you'll have bases where a bunch of missionaries work together, kind of supporting each other. Translation is the primary focus of mission work there to try to translate the Bible into all of the 800 plus languages in that small little country. Um, and so that was kind of how it's structured. So we went out to a base with it was just my family and a few other missionary couples out there. Most of the people there were oh my gosh, my brain is just not working. Most of the people there were nationals who were also working on like translation projects and stuff. We also just kind of served as like a hotel for mission people coming through or like important people visiting that area. But we were literally in the middle of nowhere. If you want to look it up, it's called Huchena Bougainville. It is literally the middle of nowhere. There is nothing around. It is just a deserted island. It was so isolated. There's like a little town there, but like, bro, it was crazy. Um, and my parents ended up doing as much work as an entire team of base operators should have been doing, like probably 10 plus people. They ended up doing just themselves. And this was also my mom trying to homeschool me at the same time and my brother at the same time. Um, and it was just so much stress. There was a missionary couple that were giving my parents so much trouble because every time they would try to change anything, there's this huge argument and this huge meltdown about you can't change things. It's been that way for the last 20 years. Um, and so my parents ended up not being able to give me and my brother like any time at all. My mom would like sit us down with our math books or our reading books in the morning and we would just work on homework and when we were done, we would go and play by ourselves kind of thing. And I ended up getting severely depressed. And I had no exposure to other kids that were talking about depression. I had no exposure to the internet telling me that I was depressed. I had no way of knowing what I was going through. I just knew that I no one longer wanted to live. I struggled with that for months, and I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't talk to my family about it. I didn't say anything to them about it. I was just so stressed out and tired and just broken as a little 10-year old. And it got to the point where I attempted to take my life. And I got up on a balcony and was about to jump. And God sent a little stray cat that we've been feeding, who, was still very skittish and worried about being around humans. He came up behind me and started meowing at me, and I climbed down and I picked him up and just held him and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed for like hours. And that was definitely God because oh my gosh, I'm crying now. Um, because yeah, that cat was not acclimated to humans yet. He's still my baby boy. I'm not with him right now. Um, but he's still my baby boy. He's like he's so old now though. But yeah, that was definitely a miracle from God. Eventually my mom realized that something was wrong with what was happening and talked to me about it, thinking that I was just a little bit down. And then all of this, I tried to kill myself, mom. I've been depressed for so long, just kind of flooded out of me. And my parents realized, oh my gosh, this place is killing our daughter. We need to get her out of here. So they ended up deciding to stay on the mission field, just not in that base anymore. Um, and so we moved to Ukarumpa, which was a bigger mission base. It's like probably got like 200 missionary families there. They're mostly support workers, so they support the people doing the translation out in the villages and stuff by like providing education for their kids, production stuff, anything like that. Um, yeah, he came with me. That little boy is so precious to me. I love that little man, bro. I get to say a cat saved my life. um, precious little dude. So yeah, then we moved to Ukarumpa. I was still struggling with depression. That didn't go away. I didn't get a lot of help for that. Um, I think the attitude my parents took with that was that, oh, we'll just get her out of this bad situation. She'll get better by herself. And no, I just kind of retained all of the spiritual stuff I was under and just retained all of the stuff I was struggling with. So I went into a new life in Ukarumpa with all the same old stuff. Immediately as soon as I got there, I was the homeschool kid who had never interacted with kids her own age, and it was just a mess. No one liked me, obviously, because I was obnoxious and loud and like just wanted people to give me their attention, kind of thing. Um, so yeah, it was rough. No one really wanted to be my friend. There were some people that were like sympathetic, but you could tell they were pitying me, kind of thing. So I didn't really fit in. After a year there, we went on furlough, which is like taking a break from the mission field. You spend a little bit of time back in your home country just to like take a break and refresh and gather support and then go back. Hello Elijah. Hi. Welcome to the stream. Um, and so yeah, when I was on furlough, I was introduced to the furry fandom. And if you guys have been following my YouTube for a while, you probably watched the furry video I posted. It was like one of my more popular ones. I don't know. If you have watched it, you know what I'm talking about. I fell down the rabbit hole of the furry fandom through like animal role plays and that kind of thing. And I eventually started thinking I was a Therian, so that's kind of like your soul belongs to an animal or you're like in the wrong body. It's kind of like transgender, but like for animals kind of thing. You're like you were born into a human body, but you have the soul of an animal, or like your soul is connected to a physical animal out in the world somewhere and you're trying to find it. That kind of thing. Like really weird, like spiritual mysticism kind of stuff. Um, from depression to furryism. Well, I didn't leave the depression behind. It just came with me to furryism. um, and I started to question a lot of things. Like, I was having really bad problems with self identity and self worth because I hated myself. Other people hated me, so I hated myself too. And I was really struggling with like, who am I? I started going down, the transgender and sexual orientation kind of stuff. Started thinking that I was a guy for off and on for about 2 years just because someone made a comment to me that I would look better as a guy because um well I grew into my female body very awkwardly. I was taller than most guys in my class for like half of high school. I grew up really fast. I actually have knee deformities because of how fast I grew. Um so I was kind of like really struggling with self-image. That comment that person said that I look better as a guy stuck with me for a long time. I started struggling with like same-sex attraction, that kind of thing, and that was all brought on because of people that I was interacting with in the furry communities online behind my parents' back. I was definitely being groomed by a lot of people there. I just didn't really know that was wrong or oh, thanks for the head pat, Thunderbird. Um, so yeah. My parents found out and were very, very mad. I don't think I've ever seen my mom that mad in my life before, and I was terrified because I already felt so guilty about it. Like the guilt had been eating away at me for a long time. Um, but yeah, I was struggling. I was struggling Across chats, my eminence Elijah, I greet you. Hope you're doing all right today. Yeah, I'm doing okay, Elijah. Thank you. I have slight autism, so obnoxious and difficult are my traits. Well, you're not obnoxious or difficult. Don't worry. Hello, Thunderbird. Welcome to the stream. It's nice to see you here. I see clear a ban on cat ears for a little bit. Oh no. um. So yeah, my parents found out. They were super mad at me. I spiraled into this depressive state where I basically had like paralysis for I think it was like 2 days. I could not move. I felt so guilty. It was just like so overwhelming. Um, from being a furry and a therian, I moved to um struggling with an obsession with Dream SMP and also online sus anime games, which are like dating simulators, but they were not made for kids. That's all I'll say. And got very much sucked into that for a long time. I got found out about that, felt even more guilty, had even a longer paralysis state because I had just come out of being a furry and, made a change in my life and then immediately went back into something even worse, in my opinion. Um, so I got so depressed at this point in my life that I ended up attempting to take my life two more times. So that makes a total of three so far. Um, the first time I was going to drink certain chemicals in the kitchen that I found and had them stashed up to do that. The second time was that there's this poisonous plant that my mom had taught me about that basically it would kill me instantly if I ate it, kind of thing. And it'll be a painless way to go. Um, so that was second and third time that I tried to take my life, and I was not aware of this until recently, but my parents had no idea until I told them like a month ago that I was going through this. No one knew. No one could figure it out. I don't know if that was just because they were distracted by other things and didn't think to like check in on me when I started feeling bad, or if I was just really good at hiding that kind of thing. I don't know. Hello, Cheese. Welcome to the stream. I understand the feeling of guilt as it relates to something like that. Yeah. Yeah, guilt is like so hard to escape, honestly. Um, so during this time of me being, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say the word online. Okay, thank you for the lurk, Thunder. Love you too. God bless you, Gorley. Um, Thank you for the head pats, Harry. So during this time, I started to exhibit like really weird like parasocial behavior. Started to develop some things that I later had to deal with myself. All the head pats. um, oh buddy, I hope that if I'm ever in that position your parents were in, that God would give me grace to treat my kid with gentleness, understanding, and stand firm on the Bible. Oh, thank you, Steph. I appreciate it. And also welcome to the stream. I haven't seen you here before. Um, but yeah, because of parasocial behavior I was having, I was like, what's it called? Pathological liar at that point. I have huge problems with social anxiety and just hating interacting with other people. I had a teacher in my middle school say, "Oh, you have autism. You have severe autism. You need to get that checked out." And so for like half a year, I thought I had autism and I had to figure out how to struggle with that. We ended up getting me checked out by an actual professional, and she's like, she doesn't even exhibit any signs of autism. I don't know what she's talking about. She's just struggling with depression and anxiety. Like, what the heck? So that was an interesting experience. um, so after that, it was kind of hard for me to feel like, oh, I have autism. That's the reason why I'm acting this way. Oh, wait, no, I don't. I'm just struggling with stupid things I should get over, kind of thing. Um, I started having severe anxiety that I actually had to go to clinic for because I felt like I had heart issues. I would have severe chest pain, but it turned out to just be anxiety. And the doctor said instead of like giving me any kind of medication, anything to help with that, he's like, you just need to figure out how to calm down because this will eventually become an actual issue with your heart if you continue being this anxious. And I'm like, okay, but I don't want to be this anxious anyways. You thought you were a fairy? I heard people thinking they were wolves and cats. I meant respectively something that I actually thought I was a fox. That was my Therian phase. But now I'm a fairy. I've been following for a while, but it's always been busy doing your streams. Okay, well, it's nice to meet you finally. Hello, servant to God. Welcome to the stream. Um, I had really bad depression still. I was not like, um, yeah. Insane thing to tell an anxious person. If you don't stop being anxious, you're gonna have health issues, right? Bro, it just made me even more anxious. Yeah. Um, I was still struggling with major depression, but I didn't really have anyone to help me with that. I had another person in my life who was struggling with it more, or at least I guess more vocal with it, I guess. I don't really, like looking in hindsight, I don't think she was struggling as badly as I was. I just wasn't as open about it with other people. So I was like, oh, I have to be strong for her sake. I have to be able to take care of her, that kind of thing. So I was just not getting help for any of the stuff I was going through. Wow. Wonder what the side effects of that could be. At one point, I ran away from home, which did not work out well because I was on a closed center and everyone lived within like 5 minutes walking distance of each other. Tried to stay the night in my like youth leader's house. I was put on suicide watch because of what I talked to her about, which was not fun. It was just more annoying than anything that like every week they would remind me, "Oh yeah, you're on suicide watch. Are you okay?" And that was kind of like the extent of it. I'm like, "Bro, I don't need a reminder every week. Thank you." Um, I tried to communicate with my family about the stuff I was going through. I didn't really have the vocabulary or the experience to really know what I was going through at that time. So it was awkward interaction. It did not go well. My family ended up just being offended by the stuff I said because I was blaming them for things. Didn't end up getting any help for that. Actually caused my family to be like, "Oh, she's struggling with how we're being how our parenting style. That means we should just pull away and stop like being as strict of parents." But that ended up like making them really distant and like a little neglectful, I'll be honest. That was just not what I needed. I needed someone to support me and help me, not pull away. Um, Autism is not a trend. It makes me mad how people act like autism is some trendy quirk. I know I said I had it earlier, but I was told my parents I had it. Well, I mean, like, I didn't even have autism, and my middle school teacher told me I did, and I'll be honest, it just made everything worse. Like, it just, like, oh, I'm stuck like this. There's no way of changing myself. And then afterwards, oh, this is actually just my fault and I need to figure it out by myself. It did not help me at all, being told I had autism at all. No. Um, my senior year was insane time of my life. I was doing a little bit better because I ended up applying to do work studies at the local clinic. And just helping people physically was like really helped me just like manage my depression at least, or at least like put it aside. I felt less guilty about the person I was because I was spending so much time helping other people. I did get a little bit of trauma from the stuff I saw in the clinic because, as you can imagine, at a missionary clinic, there's a lot of stuff that happens that you would never see in a first world country. Horrible stuff, horrific. Um, I also started the YouTube channel my senior year. I think towards the end of it. That was fun. That was cool. Some bad things that happened that year was that we had this massive 7.5 earthquake that kind of shook up our lives literally. um, then a little bit later, we had armed robbers break into my house. Well, me and my mom weren't there, but they threatened my brother and my dad at gunpoint and took like all of our hard drives and stuff. We lost like 5 years worth of family memories because they took all of our electronics. A little bit later, my mother was in a car accident, rolled her car. Um, the same day that my brother fell and broke his arm, and I went to the clinic to see both of them, and they're in urgent care. Um, yeah, it's just one thing after another that year just seemed to be happening. I was not doing well. Um, yeah, it was stressful. It was a lot of stuff. So, yeah, I was still dealing with suicidal thoughts. I was just better at hiding it from people. I didn't talk about it to anyone because I thought, oh, it's been a year since I've been put on suicide watch. I should be better by now. Um, I struggled a lot with loneliness. I had one really close friend, but it was very much a one-sided relationship where I was expected to give her a lot of time and space and like energy. Or at least that was my expectation of myself, and I didn't feel like I had the right to open up to her about the stuff I was going through, even though I'm sure she would have been willing to listen to me if I had. It was just I wasn't, I was just being kind of weird about it. And then finally, I graduated senior year at 17. I moved out of my home, moved back to America, got dropped off by my family, and lived there by myself. And that was when I went to the Mendocino YWAM missionary school. And that is what I will constantly rant about being the definitive moment of my life. Everything changed after that. Um, I finally had a personal relationship with God. I finally got to know Him as a father. He I was being taught and taught and taught and like poured into about a lot of things. A lot of my understanding of the Bible was being changed, but my fundamental issues in my heart of like self-worth and like my relationship with God were not changing until a certain point. I was going off by myself to do devotions by myself. I was in a room by myself and just praying to God, pouring my heart out to him. And all of a sudden I'm just here, Sierra, I love you. And just the fact that God used my name, called me by name and said he loved me, just, I broke down into tears. I just shattered. I was crying for like 2 hours. I ended up going to the lecture that day, the talk that day, still crying in the back. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I want to be here, but I can't stop crying. Um, and so, yeah, I just all of a sudden was able to relate to God as a father, as someone who loved me individually, who cares about me. I got freedom from a lot of my guilt. I was able to stop my depressive. Like I still struggle a little bit with depression. Like I'll like sink back into it when I am tempted to, but like it is not this constant driving force behind everything I do. My anxiety is completely gone. Don't have chest pains about that anymore. I had severe chronic insomnia since I tried to take my life the first time, and that was healed in an instant when my friend prayed for me. Um, yeah, just everything changed. My faith changed. I became a better person. I stopped being angry and reclusive and like, you know, and I became more like the person I am today. Of course, God's still growing me, and He was growing me back then, and I'm not the exact same person I was then. But like, still, the progress it took to get me to the person I am right now, started there. And also with the suicidal thoughts, turns out a lot of it was demonic. Because during a prayer time, we were supposed to have this openness and brokenness moment. Basically, we would just sit on a stool and talk to um everyone in the room about whatever we wanted to, whatever was on our heart, whatever like still hurt us, whatever was heavy. I feel like it was really good, a really good activity. Everyone in the class, my students and my teachers, the students in the class and the teachers ended up going up before I did. Everyone was like, having a really wonderful time of just opening up and being honest and just feeling the love of God and healing and stuff. And finally, I went last and I stood up there. I sat down on the stool. I started talking about everything I'd been through, all the hard stuff I was still struggling with, but I wasn't really feeling any like movement in my spirit. There wasn't any change happening. Nothing really mattered. Um, and so the teacher's like, "Hey, before you continue, I just want to pray over you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Just thinking it was like a regular prayer for like peace or something. All of a sudden he starts like casting a spirit out of me and I'm like, "What is happening?" Um, but then he as a like a prophetic act, like he was just as he's praying, he just did this to like emphasize what he was saying. He like reached down and pretended to pull something out of my chest, but I looked down at his hand as he like reached down to pull something out of my chest, and I saw Jesus' hand come out of his arm, go into my chest, grab this like sluggish snake black thing that had been wrapped around my heart, and just like pull it out. And like there's this sharp pain, and then all of a sudden it felt like 40 pounds had been lifted off my shoulders. Like all of a sudden I was just so much lighter, and for like weeks and weeks afterwards, I was just like feeling lighter. I could breathe easier. There wasn't this constant pressure. Like it was that kind of change. You didn't realize that weight was there until it was gone, kind of thing. It was so cool. And yeah, the demon of suicidal thoughts was pulled out of my chest. And it did come back and attack me later. And it had to be cast out again because I was not doing my best job of filling that space left behind it with God like I should have. So it came back and I had to get prayer again. Um, but yeah, so I haven't really been struggling with suicidal thoughts since at all. So very cool. God healed me from a lot of things. He healed me from a physical illness too, or um, yeah, really bad knee issues that God healed me from. Yeah, it's just really cool. I mean, He didn't heal me from everything. I still struggle with, like I said, I still struggle with depressive tendencies, and I still struggle with some physical issues. I still have a chronic illness that is not fun. But you know what? If God decided to leave it after healing me of all the other things, that means there's a reason there, and that is, I would much rather there be a reason for my suffering than to not have suffering for no reason, kind of thing. Yeah. So that is my testimony up until 2 years ago. Some of the stuff that's happened the last 2 years, I don't know if I can talk about openly online right now because they're still kind of active. They're still happening. But yeah, that is my testimony. God's love is the greatest gift ever, for real. Hello, Eddie. Welcome to the stream. And hello, Pine Solo. That is insane in a cool way. Yeah, thank you, Swiftcat, and welcome to the stream. It's been a wild lore dump. Yeah, God will never give you more than you can handle. Actually, moment. That verse is talking about temptation. God will actually give you more than you can physically, like physical things and spiritual stuff, like warfare that you're under, that you more than you can handle, because He wants to teach you to rely on Him. Like most of the stuff that I go through, I cannot handle, because He wants me to cast my cares upon Him and trust in Him. It's like really pop. That's crazy. Thank you, Cheese. Sorry, I joined near the end of the testimony. That's fine. I'll probably try to edit this down or re-record it and post it on my VOD channel on YouTube if you guys want to watch it again. I know it's very brain rotted and very spacey rendition of my testimony, but yeah, you need to write a book, a lol. I have really bad memory issues, so most of the stuff I don't remember details about. I feel like I don't have enough memory to like write a book on. And the people that would remember all this stuff that happened, I'm no longer in touch with. So, yay. God was incredibly faithful throughout all this. Wow. Yeah, for sure. Bro, the amount of times I should have died and I didn't. God is so good. For real, for real. Okay. That was all for my notes. My persona lore, I do not have notes on. So I will be doing this from my memory and we'll see how well that goes. Um, but yeah. For those of you who don't understand like the VTuber culture and that kind of thing, VTubers usually have a persona. My persona is Frog Pollen. Obviously, my real name is not Frog Pollen, and this is not really me. Wow. Um, and their character, they'll have like a story behind them, and kind of like this is their lore. This is why who they are, and this is what they do, kind of thing. Frog lore and frog lore. Yeah. I think it's better to say God won't give you more than He can handle if we're gonna use that particular context. Yes, for sure, 100%. Persona lore, Sona lore. So just for context, guys, that's what persona lore means. Is that we're just gonna be talking about my character that I use to represent myself online as a VTuber. Her name is Frog, of course. There was a time where I was calling her Akula because that was the name that I was almost called as a baby, was Akula. Are you a frog in real life? No, I'm a human, unfortunately. Your name isn't really Frog Pollen. I feel like I'm watching Frog Pollen testimony, but hey, she seems blessed by the Lord. God is good. Yeah. Wait, you aren't a real anime? Unfortunately, guys, I'm not an anime girl in real life. Chat is flabbergasted. Bye, Cheese. Thank you for joining the stream. I love you. Have a good rest of your day. But yeah. Night Spring is a myth, but anime isn't even real. Me too early, don't go bald. Okay. Okay. But yeah, so once upon a time, actually, okay, never mind. I had to restart. My bad. Akula is the name of the character originally, and then she changes her name to Frog later. So once upon a time, there was a woman named Akula, and she was just a regular human being. She lived in a village in the middle of like the countryside in a very like pastoral medieval fantasy kind of world. I got bamboozled. I used to be super into VTuber culture only as a viewer, and then I fell out, and I found you and got back to it. Aww. Well, that's cool. I'm a wholesome VTuber. Yippee. um, Unforgivable. um, so yeah, she lived in this like countryside. She was born into a large family of lots of little kids. But she always struggled with like being socially anxious, not really feeling comfortable around people. She hardly ever went outside. She just kind of stayed inside most of the time. And so eventually she grew up into a woman, did not leave home. She lived with her family, just doing whatever they needed help with. Just kind of staying inside all of her life, not really interacting with people outside of her family. And, one by one, the kids all grow up and they move out of home and all of them go on adventures and visit far off lands and that kind of thing. Um, Hello, Deadman, welcome to the stream. Hello. And, so she's left alone with her aging parents. Eventually they pass away. And yeah, so then she's living alone in this little rundown cottage. She's getting older and older, and eventually she's like 80 or 90 years old, and she realizes, oh my gosh, I have like not made any friends. I've not interacted with any people my entire life. I haven't done anything of note. My siblings are all gone off on adventures and died in foreign countries and done amazing things, but I've just stayed here and done nothing with my life. And she like suddenly like regrets all of her choices of being a coward and being afraid of like staying in her cottage for her entire life. And so she kind of like gets to the point. It's the year turns into winter, and she's like, okay, this is my last year alive. I'm gonna die soon. Um, and so she's like, I'm gonna go on one adventure before I pass away, just one adventure. And even though I'm an old lady and that adventure can't be very far and can't be very big, I'm gonna try to do something. So she kind of packs up a little like knapsack, takes her walking stick, and heads out the door and climbs this mountain. And she can't go very far or very fast. It takes her quite a while, like a day and a half, to get up this mountain, even though it's pretty small. And she remembers as a little kid her siblings would take her out there, and they would climb up within a few hours and come back down for lunch, kind of thing. And so she's climbing up this mountain, and the sun is setting on the second day of her journey, and she's looking out over the little village that she lived her entire life, and she's like, oh, this is not the worst place to die, but I still wish I had done something with my life that was meaningful, instead of just hiding in my house my entire life. And so she sits down by this little mountain stream on a rock, and she's just kind of like, I wish I had one more chance. I wish I had one more chance at, living for something that mattered. Um, and so the sun goes down. As the last light of the sun touches the water behind her, all of a sudden the river pops to life with like bioluminescent algae. Like the whole river is just glowing this bright blue. And old lady Akula is like, what is happening? She kind of just like feels this pool to walk into the river. It's a little shallow, like metal, like mountain river. Like it's like 2 inches deep, kind of thing. So she wades out into it, and all of a sudden the water gets deeper and deeper. It goes up to her knees, it goes up to her waist, it goes up to her shoulders, and all of a sudden she's completely submerged in this water. And she's just floating in this massive expanse. There's no ground beneath her feet. There's no anything around her. She's just submerged in this warm, deep, rich water, and she's just full of like this feeling of love and safety and protection. And so as she's floating in this water, all of a sudden she's like, just the years start falling off of her, and she's given a second chance, and she kind of like comes out of the water. If you imagine like baptism, like you get dunked under the water, then you get pulled back up, like you're like, oh, you like sit up and you're like gasping for air, kind of thing. That was kind of like how she popped up out of the water, and it was morning and the sun was rising, and she sits up in the water, and all of a sudden she's not an old lady anymore. She's not 80 years old anymore. She's back at like a 20 or so year old girl. Um, but she's been reborn as a fae, as a creature of the fairy folk. Um, specifically a Spriggan, but she doesn't realize that until much later because she thinks she's just a regular fae. And then at some point, she discovers that her emotions changed her size, and she realizes she can change size through feeling sad or angry or anything like that. Anyway, she's a fae now, and she has the power of flight. She has the power um, of healing. Eventually, she figures out she has the power of healing. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I have a second chance at life. I don't know how long this fae, as a fae, I'm gonna survive. I don't know how long I'm gonna live like this." Hello, Shin. Hi. Hello. Um, and thank you for the follow. Thank you. Um, but yeah, she didn't know like how long she had left to live because some fae live only for a few years, and some fae live for hundreds of years, that kind of thing. So she's like, I don't know how long I have left to live, but I need to do something in my life. I've been given a second chance, and I'm not gonna waste it, kind of thing. So she goes out, she travels, and she discovers she has healing powers. The healing powers do have like a caveat. Um, so she can heal people, but she takes the wounds that they have on her own body kind of like at half strength, and then she can also project the wounds that she has on her body onto other people at twice the strength, kind of thing. So like she can heal people, but at kind of a sacrifice to herself. And she kind of has to learn how to balance that. She can't take too many burdens and too many wounds from other people, otherwise she'll just end up hurting herself more than she can heal. So she has to learn how to balance that. She has to learn how to say no to people, kind of thing. Um, yeah. Anyways, so that's kind of the basic lore. I'm still waiting on like figuring out how to go from there. It'd be kind of cool to write a story based on her lore at some point. That's kind of egocentric, but I don't know. It'd be kind of cool. Um, But yeah, that's my character. That is who the frog pollen is. And that's why she's a fairy and that's why she's yapping at people online. That's because she needs to spend all the time she has left honoring God and serving him. Hooray! Oh my gosh, there's messages I've not been reading. I'm sorry. Frog lore is so cool. Thank you. This has got to be an animated show. Congrats on 16.8 subs. Thank you. We're so close to 17. Yippee. She really reset the save file like that. Wishing you good luck. God bless you. Bye. Bye, Philip. Thank you for joining the stream. Damage battery. Yeah. Frog has lifesteal. Kind of. Okay, for real, I need to get go do things, so I must go. Bye, Destructible. Thank you for joining the stream and thank you for your support. God bless you. Frog Pollen is epic. This would be an amazing show. Yeah. Maybe. It's a great start. Maybe you could draw a cartoon novel for it. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Dang it, joined as soon as you got done explaining. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll try to re-upload this VOD to my VOD channel on YouTube. Hydrate! Guys, I was messing around too much with the stream things I can do. Hold on, where's my water bottle? I will edit into a video, don't worry. Don't mind me, like, knocking over everything in my room to get to my water bottle. Someone needs to redeem the Shy Little Frog redeem, please. Fiji water. Fiji don't care. There's your hydrate. There you go. Is it doubling? Oh no. Why is it doing that? Oh, because two people redeemed it at the same time. Anyways. Yippee. I'm drinking Aquafina myself, but that's what I got right now. Water's water. I just drink tap water, I'll be honest. Fiji jump scare. Also, hello, welcome to Stream the Lava. Was that a face reveal? No. No, never. More frog. Does anyone have the points to redeem the I can smell you one? Frog can give someone the cheese touch, but like Turbo Edition terrifying. Bro, everyone redeeming it at the same time. That's funny. I can smell you. Also, welcome to the stream. Jake. Nice to see you here. Been chilling in crazy stories. Yeah, crazy stories. I'm a little proud of my Twitch redeems. A little bit proud. Not Judy today. Ugh! Harry, my hat. I'm sorry for calling you Judy, Jake. I'm sorry. I think I called you Joy. That's what I called you. Well, dang, I'm bald now, guys. I don't know why my character looks so uncanny without the hat. I don't know why. I don't understand. Runs away. Give that back, sir. I have a really random question. How would you be able to make a Mario level about Jesus? I asked because there's this one game I would love to do that in. Huh. I think like video gaming, trying to turn a video game directly into like make it directly um reference the Bible and Christianity and Jesus and stuff is probably really hard. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but the Gate Zero project. I'm really excited. Really excited. Frog should shave her Sona's hair for the stream. She hits 100k. Oh my word. Greg took the hat. No, it was Harry. Harry took the hat. There's this game being produced right now called Gate Zero. There's another game I played a lot as a kid. It was not the best quality, but it was kind of like a platformer, but like every level of platforming you would get to like listen in on conversations that Jesus was having with people and kind of like follow him around like Judea, just listening to what he had to do, what he had to talk about and like what he was doing and stuff. It was really cool. Kind of like playing Superbook but as a game. It's just worse quality. So you could do something like that where like the levels are just like platformer levels or just a gameplay, but like at the end of the level or like during the level you get to hear like little pieces of dialogue taken from the gospel or something, or you get like little cutscenes. That would be kind of cool. Did I ever tell you about the time I was at the zoo and the gorillas escaped? Managed to get past the security and everything. What the heck? Seriously? Someone a shaven bald sounds right up my alley. That, oh my word. Frog, I have a Spider-Man hyperfixation lately. Thoughts? I think Spider-Man is a very base thing to have hyperfixation on, honestly. My hat is back. Hooray! Thank you, Renai. I think Spider-Man's story is a really sweet story. Like just the idea of like with great power comes great responsibility of this guy, just like an average Joe, all of a sudden beginning a tremendous amount of power and learning how to like help people with it instead of doing, things that are just kind of fun and show offy. I think it's a really good story. I loved the animated Spider-Man movies that came out recently. Those are so good. Um, Honestly, just the idea of spider sonas. I love drawing spider sonas, so I think that's very base hyperfixation to have. As long as you don't let it distract you from God, of course. But like that's the same thing with everything. There's a fly in my face. I'm gonna kill it. Gate Zero Go. I think I'm gonna be a part of a stream where stuff is announced about Gate Zero somehow. I got into that. I think I'm gonna be present for that. So if you guys want to watch updates about Gate Zero, it might be on my channel soon. I don't know. But yeah, I'm in a Christian content creator community and he's like, "Hey, there's this opportunity for content creators to be streaming while also listening to this guy talk about Gate Zero." I don't really understand it because a lot of the lingo they use I don't understand. But yeah. Yeah. Has Gate Zero said anything recently? They will soon. Didn't The Simpsons have a Christian video game the Flander boys would play? Something Bible Blaster? Really? I don't know. I've never watched Simpsons The Symptoms. Naria just prepared to sign a cease and desist. Oh no. Oh yeah, because Nintendo's like copywriting everything. The game lets you add text. That would be great. Oh yeah. Nice. The premise of Gate Zero got updated, time traveling to uncover the truth because the modern government censored the past. Yeah, that was the premise from the beginning. I just think it was a little bit harder to find. You have to go to like their website and like scroll down a lot to read the premise. But yeah, I'm so excited. It's so cool. I played the demo on my little like laptop for like 5 minutes, but then it crashed and I wasn't able to play anymore of the demo. I really was like looking forward to like making a video playing the demo, but it's just gone now. Spider Frog when? Thank you for the follow, Wandering Lightsaber. Welcome to the pond. You're gonna kill the fly, not eat it? How do you stumble into that? So on the Reach server, talking about Reach, if you guys are planning to go to Reach, you can use the code FROG to get $5 off your ticket. If you want to go visit a big YouTube convention in Florida for Christian content creators. Um, but I was on the server. I was joining one of the calls about like they were talking about how to make your channel better, do better on YouTube and that kind of thing. I was just listening along while I was drawing, and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I've been in touch with this guy. Do you guys want to meet him?" I'm like, "Yes." Since we're revealing hyperfixations, I'll just go ahead and say mine loves to cling on to one at times. Mine right now is Pokemon. Yeah, I have like one. I can have one hyperfixation at a time. Um, right now is probably my own OCs a little bit, just a little bit. But yeah, I'm definitely like that. I can only one hyperfixation. There can only be one. Don't worry, I have hyperfixations too. Mine's Halo, partly because it takes a lot of inspiration in Christianity. Also, one of the main things is hope, which I definitely need. Yeah. I don't think it's wrong to have hyperfixations as long as you keep them in check and you don't like let them become more important to you than, reading the Bible or spending time with God. Bye, Amora. Thank you for joining the stream. God bless you. Nintendo really copyrighted the idea of riding animals. Bro, I don't even know. Nintendo is They need to be stopped. I don't know why they're like allowed to do these things. Spider Frog. Hi, I saw the Reach Con and I went to drop the follow. I try to follow every Christian streamer I find. Aw, well thank you for following. I appreciate it. Frog pulling into Spider-Verse. Yeah, they escaped using guerrilla tactics. Nice. She faces Null and wins. I don't know who Null is. Now I feel bad. I'm not good at that, yeah. For me, if I feel myself getting way too invested in something that is taking up time and like space in my heart for God, I'm like, okay, time to cut this out of my life. This is enough. No more. No more. This isn't healthy. Also, reveal my current hyperfixation has me paranoid for a while because I used to be worried about it being against God. But now I don't. These thoughts don't leave anyway, and it's annoying. Oh, I'm sorry. Just pray the truth over thoughts that aren't from you. Those are thoughts from the enemy. Condemnation is from the enemy. Just pray the truth over it, that you are God's child and he created you to enjoy things that he's created. He's created you to enjoy this world he's made for us. It's because the U.S. Patent Office is corrupt. For real. But I mean, it's America, so what else is new? I have like 6 hyperfixations right now. Luckily, church history is one of them. Nice. Very based. Thank you for the lurk wandering. God bless you. My mind isn't calm about anything. Oh, I'm sorry. Creation is good. Wow, beautiful things that God made for us is good. Whoa. Nintendo has a really cool history and lots of fun games, but the practices are bad, especially recently I say that, but still badly went the Mario Galaxy 2 bundle. I already own those games too on the Wii. Yeah, I used to play Mario Galaxy on the Wii. I do love their games. Like, they genuinely make good games, which is why they're so popular, but the business practices are questionable at best, and I don't approve of anything they're doing right now. I've been fortunately, but thanks for the reminder. Yes, sir. What's your most wholesome hyperfixation? There was a period of about like 6 months where I was hyperfixated on tardigrades, which are like water bears, like these microscopic little creatures. Let me see if I can find a picture of one. Hold on. They are the cutest little things, and I was like obsessed with learning everything I could about them. Come here. Come here. You are going in the stream whether or not you like it. Please. Why? Hey. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I have to save the image and then import it. That's stupid. Anyways, we will be. You will see the cute baby bear in a moment. Why won't it let me? Brother, I just want to show the picture to the chat of the babiest of boys. Please? Is it just not the right file type, maybe? That might be it. Brother, I just want to show you guys the babiest of boys, and OBS is not having it. For some reason, this is just not allowed. It's just not legal. And it's stupid. Please, certainly a web image is fine, right? Yay! There he is! This little guy. It's a little microscopic creature, and I love them so much. Just a little dude. The babiest of babies. Never forget Nintendo used to work for the Mafia. What? I do believe we are in the large stage of the Republic where elected leaders don't matter, bureaucrats who don't leave power run the country. Yeah. Unfortunately, we are getting that way. God bless you, Mahano. How honest, I like to defend Nintendo at things people usually don't, but this is actually insane. Yeah. They could be goofy for real right now. Now that we're on the topic of Mario Galaxy, did you see the Mario Galaxy movie preview? No? There's a preview for the movie? What? What? Remember, flying isn't owning them, then pirating isn't stealing. That's fair. That's a fair Water bear, he looks like a vacuum. So those little guys can survive in space and like below freezing temperatures. Okay. Recently been fixated on homeschooled small town superheroes with normal loving average parents. Aw. Prayer for protection of my heart and mind against fiery darts and improvement in anger management. Also want to ask any plans to collaborate with any Christian VTubers. God bless you. Yeah, I'll definitely be praying. Plans for other Christian VTubers. I've been doing collabs a lot recently. It's just mostly on Twitch. I don't do them on YouTube as much because there's different like rules for what you can stream on YouTube than what you can stream on YouTube or on Twitch. My gosh. But the other day I did one with Samson VT, who is my favorite VTuber, and I never expected to be able to do that with him. So that was really cool. He's also a sweetheart. Yeah. Lord, I pray that you would bless Mr. JTJP's heart right now, that you would protect it, put your hand of safety on his heart, on just all of his thoughts, that you protect him against lies from the enemy, any kind of temptations, God. And I pray that you would bless him with peace in his soul and his spirit, that he would be fortified against any attacks from the enemy, that he'd be more likely to depend on you than to default to anger and rage. God, I pray that you would just bless him in everything that he does, and that you would continue the work in his heart and mind of making him in your image. Yeah, in Jesus' name I pray, amen. Oh my word, so many messages. He's very beautiful. Frog was their employer then? What? I don't know the Mafia, what are you talking about? What? Would you say that your favorite D&D class would be the Druid, Oath of the Ancients, Paladin, or Ranger? I love the idea of druids, except the fact that druids are a real thing, and I just don't like messing around with actual satanic stuff that actually exists. But their powers in D&D are pretty cool. I just wish they'd recalled something else. But paladins probably are my favorite. I love paladins. So cool. Thank you for joining the stream, Zed. God bless you. I love Samson, my glorious king. Yes. Right now I'm fixated on 21 Pilots. Have you ever heard of them? Yeah. I haven't listened to a ton of their stuff, but their music is pretty good. People keep on recommending their music to me, so maybe I should give them a listen. Water Bear, also Banjo, the Water Bear. Banjo Kazooie joke? What? What are these words? The Samson collab was fun, even though I woke up and only saw the ending of it. It was cool. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was fun to be there. Frog doesn't run the Mafia, Greg does. Yeah, get it right. 21 Pilots mentioned, let's go. Yay. Yeah, of course, Mr. JTJP. God bless you. I have a question for everyone if you want. Any plans for the weekend? The church. Church is always good. I love church. Hopefully I'll get to go to church. Weekend does not look very different than my average day though, because I'm unemployed, unfortunately. So, but yes, what is the rest of chat planning for the weekend? What are you all doing? It's a Nintendo 64 joke, sister. I'm sorry, I am a wee lass. I am only 20 years old, and I was not exposed to video games or internet until a much later age than most of you probably were. What does Greg do to those in the Mafia who've eaten frog legs at any point in their lives? Well, well, that's insider secrets. So if you want to know, you'll have to join the Mafia yourself. Work church, yeah. Do you have to work on Sundays and Saturdays, Gringo, or just Saturdays? I plan on making DIY wind tunnel to test some airfoils. That is so slay. What the heck? Well, have fun reading Red, and also welcome to the stream. Friend's birthday party, church, Sunday lesson for the Christlings. Nice. Very based. Something I've noticed I'm slowly developing a fixation on is Tito, the Vocaloid. She's just a chill girl. Tito? I don't know any of the Vocaloids other than Hatsune Miku. I'll be honest. I know what they look like. Like I know the yellow hair one and then the purple haired one. But yeah. I'm 30. Dang, bro. Bro is old. It's time for your nap, Grandpa. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If I can get a ride, I'll be on a hike tomorrow. Oh, nice. The same thing I do every day. Try and take over the world. Very base, Blackjack. Very base. There's a lot of people trying to do that in the chat. I don't know how that's going for all of you. Your sister is getting married tomorrow? Congrats, Jacoby! That's awesome. That's so cool. Hanging out with some of our old church grandparents who came to visit. Oh, nice. That's fun. I have no official plans for the weekend, but I'll hopefully get to cleaning my room and organizing. Nice. Very based. Both. I do church and evening. Schedule is weird. Oh, interesting. Oh, I'm sorry that you have to work on a Sunday, though. That kind of sucks. SV Teto is something else. What am I doing over the weekend? Studying. I have a test, 2 quizzes, and a couple of lectures to watch and more. Oh no! That's so sad. Well, I hope you can enjoy it a little bit and get some breaks too. Make sure to eat some sweets on the weekends to keep your serotonin up. I'm going to a drag race event tomorrow, so I'll have to wake up at 5. I'm kind of dreading Monday though, since my parents decided to have a day in the week where we can't use our phones unless needed. Oh dang. Well, have fun at the drag race and good luck surviving Monday. That's like the worst day for them to choose to put it on, I'll be honest. But have fun at the drag race, that sounds awesome. None of these would-be dictators hold a candle to Elijah. My father's still alive? Well, okay. Did I say he wasn't? Oh, I don't know what's going on anymore. I kind of feel like I have a wasted weekend because I feel like I have to sleep late to enjoy mine. No, I think sleep is an important part of life. It is not a waste of time to be asleep. Like, we spend, like, is it like a third of our lives asleep? Like, that's not a waste. God made us to be like that we enjoy sleeping. It is not a waste. Was that an Animaniacs reference? Maybe. Perhaps? I don't know. To he who is attempting to take over the world, who must retake Constantinople. Yeah! They mistake me for a high schooler. Oh, really? You just got one of those faces, I guess. They asked me what day I'd like to do that, and I picked Monday since it sucks anyways. Oh, no. Going to church and hopefully try to clean my messy and busy house. Well, that's nice. Very based. I hope you have fun cleaning. I hope you can get into the mindset of it being fun. I know, like, if you like, it's anyone else like that where like it's if there's something I genuinely don't like doing, but if I like play the right music and I'm in the right mood and that kind of thing, and I'm like talking to people while I'm doing it, I can actually enjoy it. I don't know. I hope you can enjoy cleaning your house. I have been yo-yoing more recently, so I hope over the weekend I get more skilled at that as well. Very cool. I do not have the hand-eye coordination required for yo-yoing. Very based though. I do have a question for you guys. Oh my word. What people are done answering the questions about their weekend. Where have you been in the Bible recently? Like what have you been reading about? Maybe what topics you've been focusing on? What like things have been standing out to you? Just anything. I'm curious. What has God been speaking into your lives about? I love listening to Minecraft music while doing stuff. Very based. That's very true. Yes. Indeed. Not gonna lie, I'll just be able to catch up and talk to my friends for an entire 24 hours, and that's incredibly bothersome. I'll just not be able to talk. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope it'll be helpful for you though to take a break from all of that stuff and just be able to rest a little bit and spend time with God. I hope it'll help you. I had a dream where I was flying a jet through several storms. I got shot down, reloaded my save to when I wasn't shot down, ejected, and landed in front of Bonnie from Five Nights at Freddy. What the heck, buddy? The whole thing of like you can tell what's going on in your mind because of what you're dreaming. I have no idea what to say to that. Five Nights at Freddy and Jet. Tend to read the Bible straight through, trying to parse applicable lessons out of Isaiah right now. Ooh, nice. Where are you in Isaiah right now? Like, what is happening? What is the tea? Bro, this fly is desperately trying to get in my mouth. I'm not an actual frog, please. Reading the epistles, I have a few more, and then I'll have read the whole thing. Oh, nice. Where are you right now in the epistles? Thank you for the sub. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. I finished reading Second Chronicles the other day. I will be starting Ezra later tonight before bed. Ooh, nice. I need to read the Chronicles. I haven't read them in a long time. If I had to guess, somewhere near Missouri? What? What is somewhere near Missouri? Huh? Ah. Philippians. Nice. Very based. I love Philippians. I just got past the Psalms of David. Nice. That's a big accomplishment. I've been reading Psalms. I reread yesterday's chapter and I read a new chapter. Been astounded with how emotive it is. Church group is gonna start through Daniel, so I'm excited to study that. Nice. Very cool. Very based. I've been reading more of the Psalms recently just because that's kind of the mood I'm in. I kind of need to dwell on the more emotional sides of the gospel. Yeah. Isaiah 36, the woes are over and we're turning to the corner. I love Isaiah 36. Oh my word. I just read that like a few days ago. It's a very good chapter. Eats a fly for $1. No. Grinko, no. I've been reading Nehemiah, specifically where people are mocking him for rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. It reminds me that I need to focus on God's work and not negative thoughts and worries. Very based. Nehemiah is a very good book. I love that book. There's a lot of lessons to be learned in that. It's interesting, like, I have this, like, very weird opinion of the Old Testament. Like, I'll be like, oh yeah, the Old Testament is just kind of like stories and you don't get a lot out of it. And then I actually take the time to read it and spend time thinking about it. I'm like, oh, this is really helpful. Very applicable to right now. I've been going through Genesis again. Nice. Where are you in Genesis right now? Psalms every night. Very based. As you should. Frog eat, not eat fly. I'm not a real amphibian, guys. Sorry to break it to you. I am in fact a human being. I don't eat flies. Not if I can help it, but this fly really wants to be eaten. I don't know. I don't know. Protein. Protein is protein. It's a little gnat too. Like there's not a lot of protein in its little body. My immersion. Sorry. Believe it or not, I am a human being and not a talking creature stuck behind a microphone. That would be insane, guys. Why would you think that? Frog-like consumption with face reveal stream? Maybe one day. Maybe one day. I would love to do like actual face cammed streams eventually and like videos too. I just need to figure some things out in my life before I'm in a place where I feel like that's okay. I just finished Genesis chapter 35. I don't have what happens in 35? I'm sorry. What is going on around that time in the book? The Old Testament is good if you know what you're looking for, but a lot of baby Christians try to start there, and that's largely a bad idea. But I think you really need an understanding of, um, like the gospel. Like I always say, start in John, then read Romans, and then read Genesis, and that's a good like place to start. And from there, it really doesn't matter where you go. You've understood the beginning, the end, and the points of the story. Thanks for the hydrate. I'm gonna have to go get more water because my water bottle's empty. Uh... Okay, this stream's preventing me from doom scrolling through YouTube, so I think I'll just stay here. Nice. I'm a human. Oh no. I've learned a lot from reading the Bible, specifically the Old Testament. It tells us how we are sinners, and the New Testament is the solution, giving us Jesus who paid the price for our sins. Right, you don't have a full understanding of the New Testament without the Old Testament. You need to understand the law to understand forgiveness. You know, you gotta realize you did something wrong before you realize that God has saved you from that. For sure. For sure. Also, hi, Mr. Ginger. Hi. Hello. Hold on. I need to do a shout out and untangle my hands from my cords that I've been fiddling with. Hold on. Mr. Ginger. Everyone go follow him. He's a really cool streamer. Really sweet guy. Go watch his stuff. Yeah. My hat! I clicked exclamation mark again. I don't know what it is about Psalms, but it calms me down. One time I was having a lot of dark thoughts, so I decided to listen to it while working out. I feel a lot better afterwards. Yeah. I think it's just so real and so like personal. Like David is like very honest about what he's feeling for sure. Kind of wish I could pay someone to sort through all the materials in CSP because I have way too many and keep downloading more. It makes it harder for me to do it myself. I do not know what CSP is. I am sorry. My VTuber lore for the future is found this mask behind a Waffle House at 3 a.m. and now it's stuck and I keep teleporting places. That's amazing. My hat is back. Hooray! Thank you, Harry. I had a dream about killing an insect demon with a sword, and a small demon spider was chasing me, and the two angels trapped the small demon. What does this mean, sister? I don't know, brother. I don't know what's going on. I'm not a person for interpreting dreams unless the Holy Spirit leads me to. I still have no idea, like, how to tell, like, a regular dream from, like, actual prophetic dreams and things that you should be paying attention to. The New Testament is, where did it go? An interpretive lens of the Old Testament because Christ himself is the fulfillment of everything the Old Testament teaches. Correct. Correct. I've read the entire New Testament last year and it taught me a lot, but the Old Testament really gave me context to why. Yeah. Yeah, it's all supposed to be read together. You can't abandon one part for the other. The Old Testament gives us so much of God's characters. Love for Israel is so beautiful. Yeah, I love like you just learn so much about God, like different characteristics of who He is and like what He does. It's just good. We have such an awesome Father. Genesis 35 is when God is blessing Jacob. Ooh, nice. That's a good chapter. Me gusta. You need to change the hat binding. No, but this is funny. Does he have a YouTube channel? I don't think so. Maybe he does. Ginger, do you have a YouTube channel that people can follow on YouTube? I've been waking up in the middle of the night lately. Oh no. Well, I've heard that if you're waking up at like 3 a.m., God is trying to prompt you to pray for something, whatever He's putting on your mind then. So if you're waking up at like 3 a.m., 2:30, maybe it's time for you to pray. She's not Joseph. I'm not a frog and I'm not Joseph, guys. Chat is being betrayed so much today. That redeem is so cool. You're welcome. Nice. I love the Psalms because it encourages us to be honest with God. He knows anyway, so why not let him know? Right. That's what I love. It's like David is very aggressive in some of his Psalms, talking about like, blessed be the ones who bash their babies against the rocks. Like very aggressive, very virile. But when you actually see, like when you read about what he does himself, he's very merciful. Like he didn't kill Saul when he had the opportunity to. He didn't kill Absalom when he had the opportunity to. He was very merciful and gentle and kind. And he was just venting to God. He was like, God, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I want. This is the desires of my heart. Please help me with this. And he, surrendered it to God. And after that, God, he didn't go out and actually do the things that he was talking about in the Psalms. He, was merciful and just, and he allowed God to enact justice for him. He didn't take it into his own hands. It's very cool. God is so scary in the Psalms. Uh, God is relatable in the Psalms, I think. I used to have a recurring nightmare that this chick with bright bubblegum pink hair was chasing me around with a knife. Hello? If she doesn't change the hat binding, then we can be helpful by giving her hat back. Yeah! You guys have things to spend your points on. Oh no, I left you with fear of the color pink. That's awful. I'll be honest, I remember that the days were what? I remember that the days were what the days were when I did that, but I went back to sleep. Okay. Bro, I got to sleep at 3 a.m. or 2:30. Okay. The fly decided it wanted to be inside me. Well, where's the dollar, Grinko? Oh my word. I'm gonna go get water. Ugh, that's disgusting. I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back. We're back. Bro, that's disgusting. I like took a breath in and the fly went. Okay, anyways, moving on. Thank you for the dollar. Thank you for the dollar, Rinko. Ugh. Horrid. Horrid. I'm physically I'm okay, but mentally I'm scarred. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Guys, I don't want to think about this anymore. Was it as tasty as the roach? Guys, brother, I can't do this. I'm tired, Grandpa. Head pat. Thank you, Pine Solo. Brother E! What's that, brother? Beat almost flew my mouth yesterday. Oh no. Come on, frog. All animated creatures besides humans are clean fresh to eat. I don't want to eat flies! Where does that sound come from again? It was like a podcast with this Arabic guy. I don't really know. I didn't watch the podcast, but I know the meme. Bounced off the bottom of my lip. Oh my word. I can smell you. I need to turn up the volume on that because it's not loud enough. I can smell you. In a Bible study recently finished studying about generosity, specifically in 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and 9. I like Psalms, James, and recently Ruth. Nice. Very based. Oh, really? I didn't know. Sorry. It's hard for me to remember which Psalms were written by David or which ones weren't. So the one talking about the babies wasn't written by David, but he did have other ones that he was very aggressive about. Shouldn't have chosen the name Frog if you don't want to eat flies. Brett. Brett. No. Dragons are not always demons in the Bible. What are you talking about? Thomas, bro, what are you yapping about? Anyways, we can go into the whole thing, but dragons in the Bible are usually referring to dinosaurs, except for the great serpent at the end, but that's the word serpent is used for snake and dragons and serpents and all sorts of things. It was basically any unclassified reptile, brother. He has a point about the flies? No, he doesn't! No, he doesn't! David put the full range of human emotions on display in Psalms. For real, for real. That dragons are not demonic. Guys, oh my word. The word dragon in scripture is almost always translated as serpent. It was the same word used for snakes. And it also just refers to dinosaurs that the people in the Bible were writing about. Like, that's what serpent means. Satan was he's compared to a serpent, but he's also compared to a lion. God is also compared to a lion. Like, it was a metaphor. He might be physically a serpent at the end. He was a physical serpent in the Garden of Eden, but that is a snake. Guys, he's talking about snakes, and when other serpents are mentioned in the Bible, it's talking about dinosaurs. Because people were talking about dinosaurs. They just didn't use the word dinosaur. Come on, guys. Dragons are not demonic. So all reptiles are dragons? No, I'm just saying that word refers to a lot of different things. It doesn't just mean dragons. It doesn't just mean snakes. It doesn't just mean serpents. It's a broad word. Yeah, Satan takes the form of a serpent. That doesn't mean all serpents in the Bible are demons. He mentions other serpents besides anyways. This is not a conversation I need to have. It's pretty self-explanatory. If dragons are dinosaurs, can the dinos with the big one horns be unicorns? Yeah, of course. I'm sure you could have a unicorn triceratops or something. Dragons are not demonic, they're awesome. Yes, thank you, newsboy. Welcome back, AZ. Bro, I'm so tired of people. No, okay, I'm sorry I reacted the way I did, Thomas, but I'm genuinely so tired of people saying dragons are demonic because that's something my parents used on me as a kid because of how much I love dragons. And I'm like, no, they're not. Thank you for the head pat. um, like they're not demonic. God uses, Satan takes the form of a serpent, but he's also compared to a lion on the prowl. God is also, like, just because Satan takes the form of something does not mean that something is ruined. He takes the form of a being of light. Does that mean all beings of light are evil and satanic? No, of course not. He takes the form of a serpent. That does not mean that all serpents are evil and demonic. He takes the form of a lion. Doesn't mean all serpents and all lions are demonic. Like, I just don't get it. Like, what the heck? Unicorns are biblical, by the way. I don't know how to explain it, but they're there. Someone told me once that there was like during the Ice Age, a specific type of rhino kind of died off, but it was like a woolly rhino, and it was this huge thing, and it had this massive horn that was like really, really long and pointy, and so they think that that's where the legends of unicorns came from, which is interesting. Stop! There's another fly now. Oh my word. I'm gonna commit war crimes. Oh my gosh. It's over, guys. I'm gonna wipe out every fly that has ever existed. The satanic panic of the 80s still ripples through culture. Right. I'm like, there are genuinely things out in the world that we should be worried about, but why are we giving Satan credit for things that God has made and made beautifully too? Like, God made demons, oh my word. God made dinosaurs and he made snakes and they're beautiful parts of his creation. He's like, they're parts of the blessings he's given us, and like, we don't have to put such a negative stereotype on things that God created as gifts for us. Like, what the heck? What are we doing, guys? Never fought Yoshi in Smash. Evil. Thinking about dragons is making me want to play Skyrim again. It was such a good game when I first played it. I have Skyrim. I just struggled so much to play it the first time I played it. Okay, good folks. I got MMA to do, so I'll catch you in flip. Okay, bye, Myth. Thank you for joining the stream. God bless you. Third manuscript of Daniel includes a story where the Babylonians were worshipping a dragon. There's on the famous Babylonian gate, there's a bunch of carvings of like different creatures, including like I think it's a lion, there's a mule, and then there's like a serpent creature on there that kind of looks like a species of dinosaur that would have lived in that area. So I'm sure they were worshipping dinosaurs. I know the Aztecs did, because there's murals. Let me find. I wish I could find the sources I have, but there's this mural of this guy with a Utahraptor head on his head as a hat. Aztec dino hat art. That's not what it's probably gonna be really hard to find. I need to find a bunch of these images and just show them off to you guys at some point because it's really cool to see. It might be this image. Where am I looking? What am I looking at? Where is he? This might not be. There it is. I found it. I found it. I found it, guys. I'm so cool. This is inside one of the Aztec like ziggurats, I think is what they're called. This is a mural inside of there. And so everyone here is like gathered around the high chief or whatever. I don't know Aztec lore, but there's a lot of people here. Everyone has cool hats on, like a lot of like different, like, you would wear the hat if you've killed something and you're kind of proud of it. And then there's this guy. This is a historical painting, by the way, guys. It's like, this is real. Look at this right here. Look at that. Look at that. You see that? I don't know if you can see my mouse. You can't see my mouse, but like, look, there's a dinosaur head right there. Very clearly a Utahraptor head. Like, obviously a Utahraptor head. Isn't that cool? Pokemon has the papal blessing. Don't trust anyone. This Pokemon is bad. So isn't current paleontology discussing the dinosaurs are more bird-like than lizard? They're their own thing. People are stupid. They say they're more bird-like because they found collagen fibers on like soft tissue fossils. But the collagen fibers would be the same if it was feathers, proto-feathers, if it was scales, if it was like tough skin. Like literally they do not know that the collagen means feathers. It just means there was something there that had collagen in it. And then they'll pull up like the Archaeopteryx skeleton. It's like, oh, this definitely had feathers. Wow. The Archaeopteryx is just a bird. It is literally just a bird. It is not a dinosaur. We have other animals that are extinct now, but they're classified as birds that have teeth. There is a bird in South America that still has teeth, I think. There are a lot of birds in our modern world that have claws, like the Archaeopteryx did. When this would be like the cassowary and the emu. They have claws. Like, there is yeah, it's just a bunch of lies. It's just a bunch of garbage, guys. I want everyone here to Google the Arabian sand boa. Look at that. And try to convince yourself that that comes from the devil. I love sand boas. They're so cute. I need to go head out for driving school soon. Make sure you check your DMs later, but don't rush when you're busy. I love you too, Thomas. God bless you. Have a good rest of your day. Thank God they don't worship animals anymore, mostly. I've known a few pagans before personally. Yeah, I met a lot of pagans when I was in California. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. I love how some people be like, dinosaurs don't look like medieval paintings. Have you seen how they drew dogs back then? There's even like, okay, I went to see this myself. Sauropod, petroglyph. I think people try to explain this as just a picture of a horse, is what I've heard. I went to saw this myself and it was really cool. Let me show this on stream. This is in Arizona on Natural Arches National Park, I think is what it's called. I might be wrong. But this is in Arizona. It's a petroglyph from the first peoples that were in the Americas. And what does that look like to you guys? Like, I wonder what that could be. It's definitely a horse, guys. 100% a horse. I love how some, I've been there. Yeah, it's really cool. If you think worshipping animals is wild, there are legit people who worship Hatsune Miku. I know, brother. The world is crazy to me. But I wonder what this could be. There are also medieval, like, carvings and paintings of, dinosaurs that look very much like that. The drawing is so cute. Like, it's just a little guy. It looks like Zet. Man, that really looks like a cedar to me. Haunts. It's a haunts, guys. You gotta believe me. I need to get like a bunch of pictures from this specific book that I love called Dire Dragons and show you guys on stream at one point, because there's like hundreds and hundreds of these kind of like levels of like, okay, that's obviously a dinosaur. Like, you can't even get past that. Everywhere throughout Europe, throughout Asia, throughout, you know, Africa, there's these pictures and drawings and records of dinosaurs living amongst humans, and it's like, you can't, how can you even think? Oh, anyways, it's so much evidence that they were around. It's obviously a bird frog. Of course, my bad. I'm sorry. I saw a news story about an Indian village where they had people build brand new toilets, but instead of using them, the villagers worship the toilets and continue to use the streets as toilets. What? That's crazy. Saying our ancestors really out here playing Ark Survival Evolved before it was even a thing. It looks like a penguin, guys. It's obviously a horse, guys. Of course. Let me see if I can find more pictures to show you guys, because this is something I really am excited about, of course. Unfortunately, the source I have for a lot of these pictures is very grainy at best. It is not... Yeah, this isn't even the full book. Unfortunate. I really want to like do a like a bedtime story thing with this book and just show you guys all the cool stuff in it. Yeah. Anyways, there's a really cool pictures in it. Like there's a carving in a cathedral somewhere in Europe that has two sauropod looking dinosaurs that are different kinds. Like one of them has like spines on its back, like intertwining tails, like at their altarpiece. It's really cool. It's also really cute carving, like precious. There's a statue in Germany of Saint George and the Dragon. And according to the book, like Saint George and the Dragon was kind of like a myth that spread throughout Europe, but like it was localized. So like every that flies in my face again. Every like little town would make the dragon of St. George of the Dragon like a local dinosaur they were aware of. So you get like a lot of different statues of St. George of the Dragon, but he's fighting a different kind of dinosaur. And like some of these statues, some of these carvings, and some of the tapestries from St. George and the Dragon, were like very obviously species of dinosaurs that would have lived in that area. There's even one that was like a prehistoric reptile is what it's classified as. I don't think it's prehistoric because I don't think there's such thing as prehistory. We were made on day 6, so like prehistory would be the 5 days before we were made. The reptiles, that huge reptiles that were around at that time, not even a dinosaur. So yeah, it's like there's a lot of evidence. I swear I'm gonna commit so many crimes. There's like 5 flies. Where are you coming from? The window is closed. What? I'm the number 1 Middle Ages defender, but yeah, their art was not the greatest, at least in the West. Byzantines are still cooking with Roman mosaics, though. I mean, like, there's some medieval art that actually genuinely was pretty good. Hold on. Let me see if I can find medieval painting garden party dead dinosaur. Poor Google is gonna have a stroke trying to figure out what the heck I'm asking for. I mean, I'm getting a lot of medieval dinosaur art, but it's not exactly what I'm thinking of. Oh yeah, there's a medieval painting of the animals getting to Noah's Ark and there's sauropods in the background, which is kind of cool. The specific painting I'm thinking of is like this little like peaceful garden scene of like everyone having like a tea party in the garden, and then there's just in the bottom corner she's just dead little dinosaur lying on its back with his stomach bloated. Like I'm like, what the heck is this? That would be a cool stream. Yeah, that's proof. And that you know Genesis and all that fun stuff. Yeah, I don't believe that dinosaurs were around because it's in historic records. I believe it because the Bible says so. And everything else just like corroborates evidence with what the Bible's already said. Now I'm imagining riding Toothless with God's full armor clothes on me and defeating Satan's army with plasma blast. That'd be awesome. Bye, Mr. JCJP. God bless you. Have a good rest of your day. Never get Martha in a Tarask. I don't know what that is. That's cool though. There's more things. For all we know, dragons are real and we just haven't found the bones yet. I mean, I'm telling you, dragons. The mythology of I found it, guys. I found it. The mythology of dragons comes from dinosaurs. This is the worst pixelated image I have seen in my life. Whatever, it'll do. You can kind of tell what's going on, I guess. This is a cute, like, little medieval or post-medieval painting of a garden party, and just in the bottom corner there's this dead little dinosaur. Hold on. It's just so funny to me. Ah, where'd it go? Come back! Come back! There. He's just he's just there, bro. Bye, Steph. Have a good rest of your day. God bless you. Fulfill your destiny. That just here's like how Warcrax. 1 frog versus 5 flies. He's not a T-Rex, he's just like a little guy. I don't even know what it's supposed to be, but he's not having a fun time. He's just napping after the enemies all good. Poor guy. I mean, if the dinosaur wings are similar to bats, the chances that their wings decompose before they can fossilize is pretty high. No, I mean, so first of all, even if you look into mythology of dragons, it's not until post-medieval that they started adding wings to their dragon myths, and that is only because in their culture things with wings were more holy, so a lot of the church carvings would add wings to animals, including dinosaurs. So that's where the whole idea of like dragons with wings came from. It wasn't during the medieval era and pre-medieval era. Dragons were not often not often depicted with wings. Um, of course, there are, you know, pterosaurs that we can consider that they would have called dragons too. And those are the flying ones. We're also mentioned in the Bible that oh my gosh, you guys are gonna have to correct me. It's the behemoth, right? That like snorts out smoke and like sparks and stuff. And I'm not completely opposed to the idea of like of some kind of dinosaur having organs very similar to the bombardier beetle, able to create fire or some kind of chemical reaction like that. That would be pretty cool, and I would not put that past God to have something creative like that. You know, and the idea of like being able to breathe fire is a pretty pervasive idea throughout a lot of cultures that have dragon legends. And it is mentioned in the Bible. So like, just saying, could be, it'd be cool. Does this mean we'll get mega kaiju during the apocalypse? I don't know, but I'm sure there'll be dinosaurs in heaven, and I will be collecting them all. You cannot stop me. All fun and games until Yoshi pulls up. Fossilization doesn't really work without a near immediate burial. Absolutely. The only natural process that has been scientifically proven to cause fossilization is a rapid burial, and that only happens during a flood. And I wonder what event in history could have caused a lot of creatures to be buried all at once in a sudden flood, sudden burial, causing lots and lots of fossils to develop all at once. I wonder what event that could be. Anyways, yeah. So this whole idea of like fossils forming over time is not possible because you know, organic tissue decays before it can get buried enough to become a fossil. Like even if you bury a body or like a dead animal in dirt, bacteria still can get to it because of the presence of oxygen, and you know, it decomposes within a few years. Like the bones are even gone after a few years. Like that's not going to turn into a fossil. You need rapid cover by a lot of material, like a lot of mud, a lot of muck, that like compresses it, prevents oxygen from getting in there to feed the bacteria long enough for the material around it to harden into stone, creating a cavity that can then be filled with like rock juices. That's literally the scientific, like I've heard people call that scientifically rock juice. They will fill the empty cavity that the decayed animal has left behind when it eventually does decay by natural function, and that becomes a fossil. So like, yeah, there's no way that fossils formed over time, you know, and the fossil record is not a good interpretation or understanding of history or time or, you know, anything like that. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense at all. Behemoth and Leviathan. But I was trying to remember which one. Thank you for the head pat. Yay. I was trying to remember which one was the one that was like mentioned in Job, talking about it spitting up fire and like breathing smoke and that kind of thing. Nintendo will stop you from collecting the dinosaurs in heaven. I like to see them try. I have the power of God and anime on my side. If Yoshi appears and I'm turning into the predator, oh no. I have long believed the dinosaurs went extinct during Noah's flood. There's plenty of evidence against that. There's plenty of evidence for it. It'd be pretty fine to be proven wrong. So, God sent two of every kind of animal onto the ark. It does not say any kind was excluded, you know, obviously. So every kind of like breathing, creeping, crawling thing was brought into the ark. So dinosaurs were on the ark, absolutely. And there's a lot of evidence that after the flood, that dinosaurs were still around, like in medieval eras, like some of the stuff I've already been showing on stream. There's lots and lots of evidence they were around a lot. I do think that after the flood, though, of course, my gosh, my model was tweaking again. A lot of the, you know, the climate, pre-flood looked a whole lot different than post-flood. The world cooled down significantly post-flood because of the world, the surface of the earth was covered in water. And actually, I've heard a lot of like scientific Christians saying, hey, we're kind of still recovering from the ice age caused by the flood. We're still like, that is why we're getting quote-unquote global warming. It's because the earth is returning to the, temperature that it had before. It's still recovering from this massive ice age that's caused by the entire surface of the world to be covered in water. That would dispel a lot of heat and a lot of energy. Which is also why I believe the ice caps were formed during the flood, because the ice caps are completely fresh water. They're not salt water. And I think that they were formed during the flood because of how cold the earth became. So after the flood, I'm sure the larger species of dinosaurs, the larger kinds of dinosaurs were struggling to survive without a lot of the warmth they had pre-flood. So they probably slowly died out just from natural like changes in the environment and that kind of thing. But also there's a lot of evidence that humans were actively hunting down dinosaurs. You know, St. George and the Dragon, a lot of these legends talking about people like hunting down these, you know, they were celebrated as heroes if you killed a dragon kind of thing. I think they were hunted down. So eventually over time they just died out naturally. It was a slow process. But God definitely brought them on the ark. Like that is clear from scripture that they were on the ark when, you know, Noah went on. Um yeah. Put on the doom music. God creates a fire-breathing dinosaur, also God. Yeah, no, not the move. What? No. No. Everything God created is good, and he planned ahead, and he knew what he was doing. What about the order of those fossils, like the older ones being lower down and all that? Well, I'm saying that all the fossils were formed all at once, and it just depends on like where the creature was, and you know, how everything settled afterwards, you know, heavier things sinking to the bottom and lighter things floating to the top kind of thing. Everything got jumbled up during the flood, and it all happened all at once. So it's not the fossils on the bottom are older than the fossils on the top, but it all got buried all at once, and the different layers were formed by the flood. We've seen that in modern floods, that layers are formed as the silt kind of sifts and figures out where it's settling. There are different layers of like rock and like, you know, sediment are formed. Also, like, if you look at the fossil record, some of the things that they will, like, it's just bad practice, scientific practice, because a lot of it is, like, circular reasoning. I've seen a lot of, oh, this fossil is in this rock layer, so therefore it's this old because the rock layer is that old. And then a little bit later, you'll see that be like, oh, this rock layer is that old because of the fossil we found in it. So, you know, it's a lot of circular reasoning, a lot of, like, disambiguity or disingenuous, like, scaling. A lot of like creatures that they think, oh, this is the you know, the species that came between. I'm thinking specifically Archaeopteryx and Microraptor and stuff like that. They think, oh, these are the dinosaurs that kind of are the transitional species between dinosaurs and birds. However, if you're gonna believe the fossil record, the Archaeopteryx and stuff were around during the time of the dinosaurs. They were there, you know. That doesn't make sense at all. And also, like, some of the early birds, according to the fossil record, were around the same time as the dinosaurs, so it just doesn't make sense. Like, their whole, like, method just doesn't make sense. God, please let me tame a raptor and spec all of its points into speed. I want to be able to ride a raptor going Mach 1. That'd be so funny. Behemoth is a fire breather. Okay, thank you. Gee, I wonder why the Earth would have a big flood. That's impossible. Welcome to the stream, Chronicles of a Christian. God bless you. Oh no, it's Leviathan? Oh, never mind. One of them! Where does the Behemoth and Leviathan come from? They're mentioned... it's Leviathan that's mentioned in Job, right? And the Behemoth is mentioned elsewhere. I'm sorry, I don't have the references. My brain's a little bit fried right now. I'm excited to start reading Job when I get to the book. It's such a good book, guys. It's so good. Ugh! Bro, the ark had to have been that huge then. So, let's talk a little bit about kinds, because I think that's important to understanding. The flood is that God chose two of every kind. So kind is not the same as every species. He didn't have every single species of animal present on the ark. So kind would be like the bovine kind. So all the cows would fall under that. And like, you know, as long as they aren't like completely genetically diversified over like being separated a long time, they're still able to be bred together kind of thing. Like donkeys and horses are the same kind. You can be like, okay, that's the same kind. So he wouldn't have had to take all of the cows, every species of cow onto the ark. He could only take one. And then from that, there's enough genetic material in a cow to produce all the other species of a cow. That's called microevolution. It's specification. It's like diversifying. All the genetic material is still there. In a cow. Like the genetics in a wolf is, there's genetics in a wolf to produce a poodle. There's enough to produce a bulldog. Like all that's already there. It's not, you're not getting any new material. So dinosaurs, he didn't have to take the biggest dinosaurs of the kind on. You know, instead of taking a Titanosaurus on the ark when he was taking sauropods, he could have chosen a smaller one that was like, there's some that were like the size of horses, like they were smaller. And in that sauropod, most likely there was enough genetic material to specialize into all the other kinds that were around after the flood. So, you know, you don't have to worry about like, oh, he had to have every single species on the ark and all the big dinosaurs too. Like he probably had, you know, the smaller versions of the kinds, and he also probably took the younger animals on board too, like smaller, you know, babies on board. So like, yeah, you guys probably know by now, I worked at the Creation Museum, which is the same organization as the Ark Encounter. If you guys ever have a chance to go to the Ark Encounter, I would definitely advise. It's so cool. because they made the arc encounter with the same like parameters laid out in Genesis, like, you know, all of the qubits and stuff of how big the arc was, how big the arc God told Noah to make. And my gosh, it's huge, it's massive. It is. You stand there and you look up and you look up and you look. It's like, bro, it's a big boat. Ooh. Frog Doom stream when? I've actually played Doom, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. I have seen some people that genuinely believe we hunted dinosaurs to extinction completely isolated from any other event that might have been happening in the world that you're talking about. It makes a lot of sense. Like, and hunting them to extinction through their own means isn't really a horse ability to put my money on. Well, I mean, we see in a lot of like modern extinction of animals, like the Tasmanian tiger and stuff. Like humans did contribute to their extinction, but it wasn't just humans causing it. There's a lot of other things going on. Like, you know, their habitats were getting like pushed back, and just the, you know, things are changing. There was an imbalance in the ecosystem that caused them to not have enough food to eat, and they just kind of starved to death, kind of thing. You know, like there's a lot going on that you have to consider. It wouldn't just be one major event. It definitely wasn't a meteor that fell out of the sky and just killed the dinosaurs and nothing else. That doesn't make sense. You know, there's a lot going on, and we don't know everything that happened during that time too, because it's, of course, it's in the history. So, you know. I think there's a Doom clone when he plays Noah feeding animals on the Ark. It's a Doom mod for everything. I mean, just from the size of the dinos. What I'm saying is that you didn't have to take the biggest dinosaurs on board. Like, sauropods. There's massive titanosaurs that, you know, huge dinosaurs, but there are also other sauropods that were smaller and they could take on the Ark much easier, just like the size of an elephant or something. You know, there was the carnivores, the theropods, you know, different kinds of inside the theropods class. They didn't have to take a T-Rex, they could take one of the smaller ones, you know, like a Carnotaurus or something like that. You know, like, you didn't have to take the biggest ones on board. I'm just saying. It was not necessary. You weren't required to take the biggest ones on board. I feel like you should make this into a short. Probably. I need to hire an editor when I get money, guys. Here's an easy way to disprove dinosaurs being explained through evolution. The common modern idea is that dinosaurs evolved into the modern day birds. The actual belief the evolutionary process is that animals will attain new genetic information to improve their survivability in new environments. A large carnivorous hunting animal changing into prey animals, genetic regression, evolution. For real. Okay, we could talk about that a little bit. First of all, the acquiring of new genetic material is not something that's ever been scientifically observed. We see microevolution a lot, like the finches that Darwin studied on the islands. They did not obtain any new genetic information. The genetic information required for them to specialize into one with a thicker beak or one with a smaller beak or whatever was already in the finch. It's already there. The genetic material is already there. And through the process of natural selection, yeah, you would get more diversified kinds. But macroevolution, the changing of kind to kind, like the change of a dinosaur into a bird, that requires obtaining more genetic information that's not already there. And that's specifically through like mutations, and mutations are hardly ever beneficial to a creature. Like, I think the only animal that the only creature that regularly benefits from mutations is bacteria, and that's because they're single-celled organisms, and honestly it just really doesn't matter if the mutation kills them. There's a million more out there. So mutations are just, and also it's just never been proven that mutations can provide genetic information that actually provides beneficial for the creature. Like, at best, you might get albinism, but that makes it harder to survive. Or, you know, you might have a deformed limb or something like that. Like, it's not, you can't get new genetic information, period. Also, there's something called genetic entropy. If you guys have studied entropy before, I'm sure there's some nerds in the chat that understand entropy. That is the idea that order will always evolve into chaos without intelligent guidance. So, you know, you don't get order out of chaos. That's just not possible. It's not how the universe works. So with genetics, you don't get chaotic genetics, or, you know, maybe partially okay, and get something good out of that. You don't get something ordered and like, you know, better out of that. It just doesn't, that's not how the universe works. That's just not how probability works. But yeah, so genetic entropy proves the idea that since God created the world and everything perfectly, we've slowly been genetically regressing and becoming, you know, because of the slight mutations, the slight variations, and just the mess ups in our DNA. Yeah, we just become worse. 。 Creation Museum, I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, I would definitely recommend checking it out. The Creation Museum and the Ark Encounter are very cool places. I think every Christian should visit. They're very cool. I didn't like working there, but they're really cool places you should visit. I watched a Joe Christian guy video of it where he played hide and seek in it. It was a cool Ark Encounter. Yeah, they're very cool. The Argentinosaurus, its femur bone was 8 feet long. That sucker was ginormous. Yeah, for real. Hello, Amber Wing. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad you're here. It's nice to meet you. Hello, Dart. And it's finally a frog stream, guys. He's here. You know, there isn't a whole word for microevolution. Adaptation. Yeah, and that's something that God put in humans and animals to be able to survive, because he knew the fall was going to happen. I mean, he didn't make the animals to be carnivores and have to rely on natural selection, but he did equip them because he knew the fall was going to happen, and he was prepared for that. And he wanted to take care of the things that he loves. I've been wanting to learn how to edit, so I'm willing to do it for free if you want. I would never get an editor for free. I have had people offer before, and I would never do that because you guys are putting in time and effort to do something for me. I definitely would pay. I just need to make sure I'm in a financial situation where I can actually afford that. Bye, Captain Noodles. God bless you. Have a good rest of your day. If you build a cabin in the woods and leave it alone, what happens? Does it start to grow new rooms or does it decay? Absolutely. The whole idea of, like, DNA all of a sudden just existing when lightning struck warm water with like a bunch of different things in it is the same probability of a book falling down out of the sky and words falling out of the sky and being planted on the pages, and all of a sudden it makes sense and it's a congruent story and it you know, it works. Like, that's the same probability. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And then yeah, it's just like, then you have to think about the mechanics that is involved in the cell keeping the DNA intact and then passing it on in reproduction. It's not possible, guys. Evolution is just not possible. It just doesn't make sense. Is background AI this time? It might be. I bought an animated backgrounds pack a while ago without really like looking at it, and I've noticed that some of them are a little sus. Yeah, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm not a huge proponent for AI art, but I did pay for animated backgrounds, so I'm kind of stuck with it. I also love looking at entropy. It's such a cool concept. For real. For real, for real. Yeah, it's literally the first rule of alchemy. You can't make something out of nothing. Well, yeah, equivalent to exchange. Ark encounter, like Noah's Ark, the encounter. Entropy is everything goes to chaos. I'm very fascinated by different ways the universe will end up like the heat death theory of the universe. Entropy is talked about a lot when studying it. Organized chaos in a way. Yeah. Without like intentional intelligent, what is the word? Like interference. Intentional intelligent interference. Things just go to a chaotic order. They fall apart. They stop. They lose structure. They lose order. I was gone for 3 minutes. What did I miss? Me yapping about entropy. Off topic, but it's nice to hear you talk about evolution while I'm doing my college math. Real multitasking going on right now, dude. God bless your math endeavors. I am sorry that you have to math. I'm a Christian who wants to be an artist animator here on YouTube. Got any advice for me? Oh my gosh. Have a mission statement, I think, would be my first piece of advice. What do you want to do with your art? What kind of people do you want to touch? Who do you want to reach? What changes do you want to make in people's lives? Find out why you're doing what you're doing and for what reason. Write it down and keep it in a place where you can find it. Don't ever throw it away. And always come back to it whenever you're doubting your direction and like try to figure out what you're supposed to be doing. And then chase after that calling and chase after that covenant you make with God. And yeah. It really doesn't matter what you do to get there. It doesn't really matter, you know, what form of art or animation you're planning to do. As long as you're following God's lead in your life, his direction, it really doesn't matter, and you'll figure it out eventually. Man, seeing evolution being treated as true in any video setting bothers me. For real! Bro, I'm so tired of people just talking about it like it's a given fact. I'm like, none of it makes sense. Please, use your head a little bit. I think AI has its uses, but it shouldn't be a crutch. I don't think AI art is good in any sense just because it's legally or morally wrong. It just steals other people's art and reuses it. So I feel bad about having an AI background. I've just noticed that, like, yeah, it's It's pretty much AI. I think AI can be used in helpful ways, but it's very limited what those helpful ways are, in my opinion, and people are definitely not keeping it in that little box that I think it should be kept in. People are definitely using it as a creative crutch way too often, and just depending on it for like everything. And people losing their creativity, losing their like intelligence because they're just letting AI do whatever they want for them. It's stupid. Of course, I always give advice. If AI art was illegal, that would be peak. It should be illegal. Like, it is intellectual property that's being stolen, so, like, it should be illegal. Like, I don't mind people using AI to make really dumb, silly Bigfoot videos, but then everyone starts doing it and it gets boring really quick. Yeah, that's fair. This is definitely going to cause an unpopular opinion, but I think we should let pandas go extinct because pandas are genuinely disinterested in the preservation of their own species. They would rather eat and sleep than reproduce. The only pandas being born in captivity, and the only reason that these pandas are procreating at all is because they've been shown videos of other pandas doing it. That's how disinterested they are. I think we're supposed to be good stewards of the earth. We're supposed to protect the gifts that God has given us the best we can, and that doesn't mean putting an effort to preserve the world. I don't want to come across as like, green earth, oh my gosh, you know, don't ever drive in a car again, you know, stop eating meat. That's not what I'm saying. God did give us authority over creation. We're allowed to eat meat. He gave it to us to eat. And we are supposed to care more about humans and their well-being than the earth, but we are stewards of God's creation. We are supposed to take care of it and protect it and preserve it. And that even if that is inconvenient or kind of stupid, when in the case of pandas, I think we're still trying to do our best to preserve what God has given us and to maintain the gift that He's blessed us with, which is the world that we're in. I remember when I was a kid, I would get mad every time the paleontologist would show up in the end of every Dinosaur Train episode. For real! I would turn off the show after every Dinosaur Train episode. I just wanted to watch the dinosaurs, and then as soon as the man popped on the screen, it was over. It's done. I used to have fun messing with AI images as memes, but now I'm against it because it teaches the AI. Yeah. Unfortunately. Pandas go extinct when we say they go extinct when the fuzzy lazy bear around. Wow, good yaps, guys. Wow. Kerbagerb, hello! Welcome to the stream! Nice to see you here. Has anyone redeemed the, on Twitch? There's another redeem I don't think anyone's done yet. Believe! Has anyone done that yet? I can do it myself, but whatever. It'd be more funny if you guys do it. Hello, Wandery! Welcome to the stream! Another one. I wouldn't mind eating less meat if it meant that said meat was consistently high quality. I have an intolerance to pretty much all red meats, so I'm not eating a lot of meat anymore. Look, I don't want pandas to go extinct, and I do understand that we're supposed to be caretakers of the earth and all of God's creation, but when a species has chosen to be disinterested in continuing, it's gotten to the point where we're so desperate to preserve them that we have made them. I feel like we're living in a dystopia. I mean, yeah, but like, we're still given responsibility to take care of them. I'm sure it feels weird and that, yeah, it's unfortunate that it has to be that way, but like, still. All this talk about evolution randomly made the book The Ark Plan pop into my head. I read that series when I was so young, I don't remember if it had anything actually Christian in it. Oh no. You didn't hear it. Well, can you everyone else? The GIF was literally frog 10 minutes ago. Where's the GIF from? It's from Tootie McNudie, the person who invented the word frog, and why I have my name Frog. Because I watched one of her videos so often when I was younger that it actually made me get the high school nickname. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh my word. I've given chat too much power, guys. My take was so bad, the stream is crashing on my end. Oh no! Thank you for the follow, Princess Brooke. Nice to see you here. Wait, we've met before, haven't we? We were on, Zaf stream together, right? I think. I've recently got more comfortable with insects recently because of God's word and absolutely love grasshoppers. Yeah, I love giving love to the animals that other people don't love as much. Because God made everything beautiful and good, and yeah, it's been twisted by the fall. And like, sure, some things might hurt you, but like, they're still beautiful creations of God, and they're still wonders of his hands. Was your model inspired by an elf character like Legolas? I'm sure you could tie it back eventually to Gerald Token. But I just love fairy characters. I am a fairy. I don't know if you guys can't really see my wings. I've had to like, I have to make my model smaller to see my wings. But yeah, I do have wings. So I'm a fairy character. I just really like fairies and like gremlin core and that kind of thing. Well, it's good to see you again, Brooke. The stream breaking for anyone else? I'm sorry, guys. It might be breaking. Butterfly wings. I love spiders. We do not tolerate spider hate in my chat. Spiders are amazing. When was the last time I showed off my full model? It's been a while, hasn't it? There's me. Yippee! I'm probably gonna have to do some touching up on the model in a bit to like make it more VTuber-esque. But yeah. Yippee! Frog drink some Red Bull. What about wasp hate? No! Everything is a beautiful creature that God made. I've been getting better with spiders, but I used to be so scared of them. I understand people being scared of them, but also recognize that God made them and made them intentionally, and they're beautiful creatures that he loves. I love how the ears move. Yeah, me too. I'm very proud of figuring out how to do that. I was like, what if when I blink my ears wiggle? Because I actually can move my ears in real life, guys. Did you know that? I can do that in real life. I can wiggle my ears. Hee. I got over the fear of holding grasshoppers earlier this month, but sadly it's almost time from the past and the nymphs to grow for another generation to hatch next spring. I forget that that happens in this country, that you guys have seasons. I forget that like things die when the seasons change. Where I grew up in Papua New Guinea, it was just rainy season and more rainy season, so oh my gosh, I'm a cat again. So the grasshoppers would just not die and just keep on getting bigger and bigger. So they're huge grasshoppers there. The spiders, they haunt me. Yeah, not fam. If I see a spider, it's on site. Oh no. Can we get Toadander lore? Toadander was never really supposed to be part of the official lore. He was literally just an inside joke on the server that kind of took off and now is permanent. But Toadander just like, I didn't even come up with his name. Someone else did. I forget who. But he's just like the antithesis of me. So he's kind of like an evolutionist, like atheistic, apologetic guy. Like he very strongly opposes Christians and that kind of thing. Probably has a show, a podcast talking about how stupid Christians are for believing what they believe, stuff like that. Yeah, but his name is Toadander, which is the opposite of frog pollen, according to whoever made up his name, which is really funny. Do you prefer cats or dogs? I am definitely a cat person. I don't really like dogs. I don't know why. I mean, like, there's some dogs that are really sweet, but I would never own a dog willingly. They're just kind of stinky and annoying, in my opinion. On the other side of the grave, the mosquitoes and I are going to have a long chat about how the fall ruined everything and how sorry we were to each other. Did you touch a super belt? No, there's a redeem on Twitch that allows people to give me cat ears for like 5 minutes. Now raccoons and possums on the other, I would gladly have as a pet. Oh my gosh, I want a pet possum so bad. Little guys. Hello, Storm. Welcome to the stream. Can I get advice on something? A friend of mine that I really want to get into a relationship with is only on the fence about a relationship with God. Should I go for her? No. You need to 100. She needs to be 100% in the body of Christ for you to pursue her. Um, yeah. Um, it's a huge deal about being evenly yoked. You need to be able to be a team, to be united on all fronts. If you guys disagree on something as big as loving God, that is going to be a huge point of contention for a long time. You're gonna have constant fights about that. You're not gonna be able to go in the direction that God is leading you to go if you're having to drag her along with you when she's not following God too. Also, even if she becomes a believer, you need to wait a while before she's mature enough to consider her as wife material, because like a marriage between a new believer or an unfirm believer or a shaky believer and a strong believer is also just gonna struggle a lot. You can definitely pour into her and strengthen her faith as a friend, but I don't think it's wise to date her. Yeah, if that makes sense. I'm the same way, Frog. I do own a dog though, but I prefer cats. For real, cats are better. I can't believe that she would hate on dogs like that. I'm sorry, I'm just a cat person. I can't help that I have preferences. Gotta bounce. Thank y'all for the apps to close out the workday, gang. God bless y'all. Bye, Renaya. Thank you for joining. God bless you and have a good rest of your day. I would love a fox as a pet. That'd be really cute. Corinthians 2:14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? Amen. Amen, amen. You need to be confident that you and your future spouse can be a team running at the same speed after God. If one of you is kind of lagging behind or a little bit lukewarm or a little, you know, uncertain about her faith or his faith, that is only going to either drag you back as you try to stay at her pace, or it's going to end up splitting you as you chase after God and she chases after whatever the heck she's chasing after, the world, whatever. It just doesn't work. You need to be able to be fully and head over heels in love with God before you can love one another, each other, as, you know, the way God intended. Going to play games with a friend, just went through, throw out there that cats are better at what words? Going to play games with a friend, just want to throw out there, cats are better, long live the Siberian Tiger. Nice. So then I should work on a relationship with someone else who is a Christian? Well, I mean, like, if you feel like she's still worth the wait, if she's the kind of person that you would be worth waiting for, sure, wait for her, but don't pursue a romantic relationship. Pursue a friend relationship and encourage her in her faith as a friend. Bring other people into her life, strong Christian females that can pour into her life and teach her. Also, like, if you are not I don't know, I feel like if you change loyalties that quickly, my ears are gone, thank God, hooray, I can have my hat back. Maybe consider why you want to date. If it's like just for the sake of dating and being in a relationship, probably not a good motivation. If you want a lifelong partner that will pull you closer to God and that you can love and adore for who she is as a friend, but also as your lifelong friend and more, that's the good motivation. If you're willing to just switch loyalties just because you want to date anyone, it doesn't really matter who, that's kind of a dangerous mentality to be in, and you most likely will not end up with a girl that you want if you're kind of acting like that, if you have that mentality. Did I really come back to full wogue? Thoughts on VeggieTales? I don't like VeggieTales. Superbook is better. Superbook is so much better. Cracking open the book, Mr. Dark. Give me a moment. Speaking of cats, I would love one of those Norwegian forest cats. Oh yeah. Or like a Maine Coon. It'd be so cool. I have a Siamese cat named Molly, which is Thai for jasmine flower. Aw, that's so cute. I'm living in a house currently with a cat. His name is Octesian, and he's the most dingbat of a cat. He's a little idiot, and I love him. I'm still trying to find the kind of girl that Screwtape would call a two-face. What does that mean? I haven't read the Screwtape letters in so long. Can you refresh my memory? Thank you, Green Women and Friends. Of course! I hope God blesses you with guidance and leading in whoever you end up with. I've never watched VeggieTales based. Watch Superbook, it's so much better, guys. I like VeggieTales, some of them are good, they have good lessons, but like I hate how a lot of them kind of twist the gospel stories to kind of be more appealing to a child audience, which is fine, I guess, but like just don't tell the story. Okay, specifically like the Bathsheba being turned into a rubber duck, that one. I'm like, just choose a different story to make about, like make a video, a movie about. Don't twist God's word. Other ones like Daniel and the Lion's Den, they change the story so much for no reason. Like Daniel and the Lion's Den is already such a, or like I guess with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was already such a good story. You didn't have to change it to this weird like chocolate factory thing. I don't really know what that was all about. Superbook I really love because they take the actual stories, they tell it as much as they can, but they also introduce two characters who like travel back in time to witness these events, and they get to talk to the characters, and they get to like, oh, why did you do this, or you know, what was the intent behind this kind of thing. And it's definitely like, I just think it's so much more honest to like actual scripture and like what's actually in the Bible. Having a growing faith has given me so much more maturity, and it's really awesome too. Amen. I'm glad. Superbook was my childhood. Yay! Fellow Superbook fan. I love Superbook so much. Have you seen like some of the more recent stuff they're making? Like, bro, the animation quality is so good. Hello? But even with a growing faith, setbacks still happen too. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're not just coasting now on our way to heaven. We're still in the fight. We're still fighting for, we're still contending for our faith. Like, we don't get to sit back in the armchair and kind of relax. We're supposed to be in battle. We're supposed to be uncomfortable. We're supposed to be fighting. I never knew that was in VeggieTales. Yeah. I just don't like it. Also, there was one more recent movie VeggieTales made that basically is like talked about the Big Bang. Like they were talking about Genesis and they mentioned the Big Bang, and I'm like, okay, you're done. I can't support you anymore. If you're gonna be spreading lies about Genesis, no. They also made like, oh, thank you for following, Neon. Hi, Neon. Hello. I get to shut you out now. Hello, Neon. Welcome to the stream. I think I spelled your name correctly. Yeah, there you are. There's also, they launched a newer show for like younger kids, but they literally just took everything Christian out of VeggieTales and just made it vegetables talking to each other. I'm like, what are you guys doing? What is this? I watched VeggieTales as a kid, but I haven't in a while. Yeah. Yeah. The character that Wormwood was really trying to keep from heaven finds and starts dating a really nice Christian girl that helps him turn more towards God. Screwtape hates on her for like half a chapter. Yes! Everyone find... Honestly, I love the Screwtape letters just because it's like a really funny perspective on like good characteristics we're supposed to have as Christians. Very cool. Okay, now I have to have your thoughts on Bible Man. I've never watched it. I genuinely have only seen the memes. I think I was probably a little too young. Or I'm just a little bit too new to the world to have experienced the Bible Man. My childhood was VeggieTales. I don't agree with the creator on certain things. Superbook, the parables, and mostly just right now media. Nice! Very based. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever heard of Steve Diaz? I just saw him speak at Idaho Family Policy Center and it was based. I have not heard of him. I will have to check him out later. Yeah, I've been in the trenches lately. Managed to make it a week so far. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry you're going through a rough time. I pray that God gives you peace and a solution to whatever you're going through. No worries, Neon. Gotta support the brothers in Christ on the Twitches. How are you doing, Neon, by the way? With all these new redeems, I keep spending my points. I just need to practice self-control. Are you saving up for one of them? Didn't Big Idea lose their rights and control over VeggieTales? Did they? Oh no. Head pat. Yippee. Doing great. Super caffeinated. How are you? I'm doing good. Don't have too much caffeine, but okay. I'm doing good. I'm doing better now that I'm streaming because it's fun to stream. I was reading that chapter. It's like, wow, that's the kind of woman I want right there. Woo. Yeah. Such a good book. I need to read it again. I need to have it. I don't think I have a physical copy of it right now. I think I left it behind in one of the places I moved away from. What about Gabriel and the Guardians Christian anime? I haven't watched it yet. I was following the production of it a while ago when it was in production, but I didn't get around to watching it. I don't know. There's just some interesting things that people mentioned that it was kind of pulling from, like the I think it was pulling from the Apocrypha and like what is it called? Enoch, the Book of Enoch, and I don't agree with either of those. Like, I don't think they're the word of God, and I don't think they're true. I don't think the Enoch was a fever dream that some guy had and wrote down. I'll be honest. Um, but yeah, whatever. I will save up points until Frog eventually adds a 5k point redemption. I don't know what that 5k point redemption would be. Maybe the Uwu voice. 'Cause I do not want to ever do that again. I've been crazy about a movie I saw on Netflix a few weeks ago. Oh, which book? Or what movie? I'm sorry, what movie? Why do people think Screw Tape is funny? Because it's just such an interesting perspective to, the Christian walk of like, oh, this is what makes demons mad, and this is kind of like how to like tick them off kind of thing. Also, the ending is kind of just, I'm sorry, maybe my humor's a little dark, but the ending of like how it ends, I will not give spoilers. It's just kind of funny to me. But yes. Did you hear about the world's highest IQ holder becoming Christian? Did you see any of his videos? Yeah, I've been following him on Twitter and like reposting most of the stuff he sends. It's really cool. He is the official highest IQ in the world, and he is a firm believer. And he's like, guys, the only thing that makes sense is Christianity, please. Do not get me started. Oh, bad Russian accent for 5 minutes. I have to try my best to get. Hold on, let me get a timer first. Okay, now to get into character. Ugh. Hello, my name is Hilga. I'm from Mother Russia. I live in the mountains. Comrade. uh, I know a few people to say they've been friends go schizo after reading. Oh no. This is definitely the worst Russian accent you will ever hear, because I do not know how to speak in Russian accent. I've never met a Russian person, but yes. I will try to read chat in Russian accent. Ugh. Neon wants me to do Uwu voice. No. Yeah, the Book of Enoch is legit just panda fiction. Just add E to every word. Highly recommend the audiobook for Scrooge Shape. It has Andy Serkis in it and it's awesome. Ooh, best. Very, very best. I should add back the redeem. I should add back the redeem for you can redeem points to make me read something in Russian accent. Please, how much longer do I have left? It is not. I did not start the timer. That is on me. I will start the timer now. I love the ending of Screw Tape. I think it's sort of half crying the first time I read it. Aww. It's very good book. Very good book. Anything by C.S. Lewis is very base. One of my favorites is Mere Christianity. I have not read it all the way through yet, but I have read excerpts and it is very good. And The Problem of Pain, also very good book. Would recommend it to like anyone who wants to read Christian book. This is so hard. Are there any animes you like? I have many animes I like. I am a consumer of the animes. I think the yeah, but my favorite anime right now would probably be Kaiju number 8. I do not know how to speak Japanese word in Russian. But yes, there is the Kaiju number 8, good anime. Free Run, good anime. Apothecary Diaries, my favorite anime. 86, good anime, also my favorite anime. Привет как дела. Привет как дела. Water Magician, very good anime. To be Hero X, good anime until they made the characters gay, and then I stopped watching. What are the other single Christian books by C.S. Lewis about? They are about apologetics and the faith, and how C.S. Lewis kind of struggled with his faith and learned about God and strengthened his faith. It's non-fiction, so it's not about like his fantasy world like Paralandria and Narnia is. It is just about his faith and like how he came to grips with a lot of things. He struggled a lot with the problem of like suffering and loving God, allowing suffering, and so that's what the problem of pain is all about. It's a very good book, very good book. I would recommend. Can't be the Uwu voice. No, we're not doing that again. That was suffering. I was dying the entire time. They're turning the frogs gay. Miracles. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the funny accents. I struggle. I struggle. Yo quiero Taco Bell. Is there still a redeem for speaking in another language on stream, or did I take that down because it was too hard? Because I can kind of speak Spanish, but it's not very good. I'll probably have to end stream in 15 minutes so I can actually exist outside of the internet. I cannot be captive to the internet for very long before my brain turns into mush. How much longer do I have? Another minute and a half. I really want to watch Freerun, but I think my favorite anime stuff, right, is practically anything from Studio Ghibli and K-pop Demon Hunter. I know it actually has great Christian undertones. Do not get me started on K-pop Demon Hunter. That is one of my favorite movies of all time. I will yap about how it is Christian until my face turns blue. I've already done it on stream like 3 times now. You have a redeem for that? Oh no. Oh no. The stream has been very fun, Frog. I'm glad that it's been very fun. I'm glad that yapping stream good. No, add jail again. No. I need to get more into Christian type culture. I'm already addicted to Ohalos and Sarah Sparks. Sarah Sparks and Ohalos mentioned in the same sentence. Very based. I love indie Christian. I have like very big playlist on Spotify of indie Christian. I have a playlist called what is it called? What if the fairies worship Jesus or something like that? I must find. It is based off of Sarah Sparks, but I found more creators that I put on there too. What is it called? Fairyland Still Worships is what I called it. I want to make more Christian friends. I have Discord server if you would like to make Christian friend on there. It is chaotic and I would not suggest going into the Christian discussion channels or the Christianity debate channels, but it is they're very nice people on there. I'm back to normal, guys. It's over. I'm safe. No more Russian accent. My hat is gone again. Oh no. Hold on. My friend had the K-pop Demon Hunters music on during his rehearsal dinner. Oh my gosh. Great to hear I'm not the only one who wants to yap about how Christian it is. It is very Christian. I exist outside the internet. Crazy. Have you heard about the Anne Shirley 2025 anime? It has some Christian elements. I have it on my watch later list, but I haven't watched it yet. We are still live! I am going to end the stream at 7, I think. But yeah, we are still live! You did a great job. I'm glad! Our team is genuine gold. Are there any red flags in Freerun? There is like one mention of like a kid flipping up Freerun's skirt. I think is like the only thing I can think of. But other than that, well, one of the characters is a constant drunkard if that's something that you struggle with. I can't think of anything else though. Your Russian accent wasn't too bad. The worst one I've ever heard. Oh, okay. Make Frog do a Mario voice, please. I can't do a Mario. I'm not good at impressions, guys. I have to practice. How many animes do you still have to watch? What do you mean? All of them. All the above. You should put links to your playlist on your Discord. I could have like a Rex channel on my Discord. That'd be kind of cool. If you guys want. Every time I post, oh my gosh, not again, guys. How many do you have this many points? Brother. And the fly's bothering me again. I'm gonna crash out. It's Jover. How many points do you guys have? Crazy. I'm a cat again, guys. Meow. If someone redeemed this, the Uwu voice, at the same time, be Jover for me. I'm glad I do not have a Uwu voice listed anymore, because my gosh. You have 3.6 thousand and Rude Mean has 2.2 thousand. That's crazy. What are the points anyways? So on Twitch, the longer you watch a creator streaming, you get these like little channel points and you can spend that on redeems. So people keep on redeeming this cat ears thing. So they put cat ears on me and it is against my choice. Hello Malone, welcome to the stream. What's your opinion on Katie Nicole's music? Her name sounds familiar. I don't know her off the top of my head though. Isn't that redeem supposed to be frog cat, not frog car? Nah, I misspelled it on purpose. Frog car. Hehe. Meow. Hydrate. Okay. Or can you watch for rent? I've only heard about it so many times. I need to watch it. It's on Crunchyroll. So you pay $7 a month, I think, for Crunchyroll subscription, and you can watch a ton of animes on there. What was the Uwu voice? The stream I did playing, oh my gosh, it was the same stream that, I think it was the same stream that, I don't know, I'm trying to remember, but I played a game with, 2 friends on Sea of Thieves and then on, what is it called? Lethal Company. And someone redeemed the Uwu voice towards the end of the stream when I was playing Lethal Company. Thank you for the follow, Happy Trails! Welcome to the stream! And I was speaking in the Uwu voice for like 5... They redeemed like 3 of them back to back, so I was like speaking 15 minutes of Uwu voice. It was crazy. I started at 7k points at the beginning of the stream and now I'm at 2.3k points. Brother, that's crazy. Solas, hi! Welcome to the stream! I'm getting so many shoutouts today. It's nice to see you. Everyone go follow Solus Yellow. He has honestly one of the coolest VTuber persona designs. It's very cool. The artist approves of his VTuber design. Very cool. What's your thoughts on TADC? What the heck is that? It's nice to see you here, Solo. Solo's like word. Katie Nicole is very good in my opinion. Lots of people calling her the Christian Olivia Rodrigo. Oh, interesting. There's another person I've been calling the Christian Olivia Rodrigo, and that's what's her name? Alison Ide. I love her music, so good. It is like the hardcore girl boss Christian music. It's so much fun. Thank you for the follow! Me personally thinks it's okay, but I'm worried it might go down a simple path, possibly. What? What is going down a simple path? What? Hello? What is TADC? I don't know what that is. What does the Uwu mean, lol? Someone explain what Uwu is to Harry. I don't have that command, I'm sorry. Digital Circus? Oh, yeah, I don't really like it. It just feels demonic to me, even though I haven't really done anything weird with it yet. Both that and Murder Drones, I don't watch because it feels wrong. Favorite English Bible translations? My favorite is ESV. No, yeah, ESV. ESV is my favorite, and I will use Amplified and, what's the other one I use? What is it called? Passion. I'll read all 3 of those side by side sometimes just to kind of get like the full aspect of like, you know, ESV is very close to the original text. Then amplified is like helps you understand a little bit better, and then passion kind of like helps you put in perspective of emotions and like God's love. Might add a little bit onto scripture, but I never read it alone. I would never recommend reading passion on up by itself. Murder and do be weird. From episode 1, it was just weird. You ever plan on ever marrying or rather staying single? I would love to marry one day. My ears are gone. Yay. I would love to get married one day, but I don't think I am ready for that right now. I would love to. If God calls me to singleness, that's okay. I don't need a husband to be happy. I would prefer to have one. The whole thing about like man, it's not good for man to be alone. I feel that. Hello, Dinoquirty. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Another person who just knows things are demonic. Hi. Yeah, I mean, we do have discernment. We have spiritual discernment. Even if we can't rationalize why we feel a certain way, we do, the Holy Spirit does convict us of like, hey, this is dangerous. Stay away from it. I think we definitely have that ability as Christians. I definitely like it. It has some problems too, but I really like parts of it. I mean, the character design's cute. That's pretty much it. I did watch the episode with the little Australian crocodile character, and he was my favorite, and then they killed him. And I'm like, okay, brother. Frog Court is dying single. Oh no. I love the NIV translation a lot. I grew up hearing it a lot. My Bible is that version too. I'm reading that too. That I got as a kid. Nice. Yeah, NIV is a good one. It's like the default English Bible translation. My word, my nose is so itchy and I don't know why. The passion's not recommended by pastors. ESV and KJV is better. Yeah, I mean, NKJV, I feel like it's not super accurate to the text sometimes. I mean, it's still really good. I still like it. But, like, if you're really going for, like, strictly sticking to the original text, I would definitely choose ESV. I only read Passion to help me, like, understand passages of scripture that I might not fully grasp in, like, a different perspective. But I would never read it as it's on its own, of course. Because it's definitely a paraphrase more than anything else. I just realized you're live streaming on YouTube as well. I am. Most of my followers are on YouTube. That is where my main fan base is on YouTube. They're very cool people, very sweethearts. Did I miss the testimony? Yeah, that happened a while ago. But I will post like the VODs on YouTube eventually. That's how I first felt about Epic the Musical. Really? I love Epic, but there's some things in it I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be listening to this as much as I am. The Passion and the Message translations are straight up booty. I would never read Message, no. Or Mirror. Like, bro, Passion is like borderline paraphrase, but yeah, you need to be careful with it for sure. I can't say I'm particularly fond of the Passion translation if it's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, I mean, like, it is paraphrase. Guys, understand that the person who translated it put a lot of his own opinion into how he translated it. And if you don't like his opinion, then you probably won't like the way he translated it. I don't believe that it should be read alone. I just enjoy it because it helps me find a different perspective of passages that I've been reading the same way. I just haven't been grasping. Gummigoo is one of my favorite characters too. Nice. Bro, I can't. The stupid fly. Ah. I'm reading the NIV Adventure Bible as a 22-year-old man, but I'm actually reading the Bible from it because that's the one I got as a kid, so it's special to me. I had an Adventure Bible when I was a kid too. I was iffy on it, but then there's that Zubul line in episode 6, and I got very uncomfortable. I don't know what that means. What was the testimony? I shared my story of being a Christian and like what brought me to the faith on stream, but that was a while ago. Try CSB or Berean translation. I've used Berean a few times. I just prefer Amplified. I don't know what CSB is though. Also, Frog, your animatic made me cry at like 2 a.m. I wanted to type it in chat, but the mood was too hype at the time. I'm sorry it made you cry, but I hope it was good tears. I cried my entire way through making that animatic, and I've watched it like hundreds of times since. Thank you for the little cat heart. That's so cute. What the heck? I love you too, Dinoquirty. Only good tears. I'm glad. We need good tears sometimes. Also, for our KGB is super accurate if you speak in 17th century English. I think they didn't have a complete grasp on like the full meanings of a lot of Arabic and Hebrew and Greek words when they were making the KJV. So there's a few things that like, you know, better words could have been substituted. I don't think they changed the meaning of the scripture, but I do think like better words could have been used. But you know, it doesn't really matter if that doesn't bother you. I don't care. Like it doesn't. It just doesn't matter. I just prefer ESV. Epic is so good. Definitely some of the problems though. I just don't listen to certain songs. Bro, I'm so. There was one song that they were gonna add. What was it like? Temptation or whatever it's called. Basically, like, yeah, it was a really weird song. I'm glad they did not add that to the final cut. My gosh. What is Epic? Epic is like a YouTube musical about the Odyssey, written by Homer a long time ago. And it's mostly just songs, but other people come along and animated it and like done things to make it like visual as well. It's really cool. He's also working on the Iliad now, so that's cool. It's on YouTube. It is on YouTube for free. You can just watch it there. Yeah. The Dad I'm Scared animatic is How I Found You, Frog. It's really well done. It's cute too. Aw, I'm glad. Bro, it was one of those moments where, yeah, Appetite, that was what I was thinking of. Yeah, I was just like, it wasn't like me trying to do it. Like, it's not monetized. I didn't tag it or, I don't think I even put anything in the description other than like, guys, I'm struggling right now. And yeah, I was going through a hard time and I wasn't trying to like make something that would like do well. I just wanted to vent to God. I just ended up posting it because I thought, hey, other people might be going through what I'm going through. I'm glad that people found it helpful. I fell asleep. There are some adult themes in it, like murder. My friends love Epic the Musical, I can't escape it. It used to be a hyperfixation, I've moved on now. There's better things in life to be worried about than Epic. I probably will hyperfixate on the Iliad though when it comes out. Wow. Oh, it's 7, guys. Oops, I went over. It helped a lot when I found. I'm glad it helped you too, Frog. Yeah, I watched it. I have probably like half the views on that video. I keep on rewatching it, reminding myself that God cares about me. It's really sweet. That is, I can have like a physical reminder of the revelation God gave me. I don't know why. Murderers rated E for everyone. Yeah, I probably need to get off now, guys. So thank you everyone for joining the stream. Thank you for chilling. It was a lot of fun. God bless all of you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and that God just blesses you and everything and gives you peace. It was nice talking to all of you. Bye. Love you all.